Peace, love, and light to the collective. What's up, y'all? What's good? What's good, y'all? What's up? Nah, I was reading the paper on my phone about the Bronx dude who got unalive. Beasley, what's good, Beasley? What up, y'all? What it do? Nah, I was looking at this joint right here. I'm from the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx, beloved. Tapping in. I'm not in the Bronx, but I'm from the Bronx. What's up? Queens Flip. He was in Queens Flip. Oh, son right here. He was in Queens Flip shit. I think his name was Fox 5. I never heard of him. Fox 5. What's good, y'all? Who in the building? I came on a little late today. What's good? What's good? I got two more John Cut videos. What's the science, God? What's the science, God? I got two more hell yeah, you could send $10, you could send $1, you could send $4. Shit, I could appreciate it. You could send whatever you feel like sending. Yeah, I'm from New York, I'm from the Bronx. BX in the building. Yeah, I got another Jack Frost video loading. I got one about Prince from the Supreme team. I got that one loaded up. Salami and bacon. What up? What up? What up? You know where I'm from? You can't tell where I'm from? You know where I'm from? Staten Island. Staten Island is alright. I lived out there. I hate Staten Island. Yeah, I was with Frost on my first Fed joint. Yeah, but I didn't really have a Fed bid though. I told my story. I got kicked out of the Connecticut prison system, and they sent me to the Feds. And when they sent me to the Feds, they sent me to Leavenworth to the pen. And yeah, Jack Frost was my bunkie for like 6, 7 months. Then we was in the shoe together a few times. But yeah, I was with him. Prince was there. Prince from the Supreme team. I was there with him. Booby from the Booby Boys that Rick Ross be rapping about. Booby was there. The nigga named Nate Doctor from Louisiana, he was there. Little Mark from Chicago, one of the niggas that brought the rocket launcher for Jeff Ford, he was there. Nah, I don't know Preem. I said I was with Prince, Supreme's nephew. I wasn't with Preem. I was with Prince. Paul Pierce. Nah, nah, it's all good. Light worker. It's all good. Yeah. Did you go to Rikers? Yeah, I've been to Rikers a couple times. I've been to Rikers Island. I've been to Rikers Island a couple times. I hated Rikers Island. Rikers Island is a horrible place. I've seen you pop up on my feed a few times. Oh, okay. Well, I got love from London. I'll drop a sub. Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, now I'm from the Bronx. I got my little YouTube fame from for playing Hellrail, a video of Hellrail from Dipset. You might not know I'm saying Hellrail like you automatically know who that is, but he was a lesser member of Dipset. I recorded him saying some disheartening things, and that kind of got me popping on YouTube, so to speak, right? And then I learned how to monetize Conway the Machine or Benny the Butcher. I think Benny the Butcher's a little better, but I like Kanye too, Conway too. I like them together as a group though. They should be together. I'm calling the police on that dude. That the dude sold me that. Uh, you talking about drug stuff? I gotta block you. I gotta block you, beloved, because I gotta put you in timeout for 24 hours. You talking about criminal activity? I don't engage in criminal activity on this joint. Wink, wink. I think it was on Wash. What you talking about? Was you in Manhattan or Brooklyn last week? Me? You talking about the boroughs or the jail? Cause I wasn't in either. I'm from the Bronx. I don't go to New York a lot. I'm banned from New York. I'm thousands of miles away from New York. I can't go to New York. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Minnesota Franklin from GTA. Never heard of him. Okay, South Philly. I'm moving to the Bronx soon. Can we be cool, bro? You want to be cool with me? I don't think you want to be cool with me, especially not in the Bronx. I'd rather chill with you in Philly. I'd rather chill with you in Philly. I don't want to chill with you in the Bronx. We might get in trouble in the Bronx. We might have to defend ourselves. Let me see. You look like Jay-Z, bro. I like the fluffy pancake. Fluffy pancake. Fuck is you talking about? Why you banned? Did you snitch? Yeah, I did. You must be new to my channel. However, I checked up his recent music video because of you. Oh man, don't. Yeah, that dude sucks. Okay, thank you for the dollar. Appreciate the buck. Little buck. All right. Use a little dollar. Do all that. Stay with the FNs. I got your back, bro. Don't do that, because then you kill somebody. I gotta tell on you, man. I'm not going back to prison. So we're gonna avoid the whole situation by not even putting ourselves in that situation. Because if we go to the Bronx, somebody try to attack me, and then you kill them, you know what I'm saying? And then we get locked up. I mean, we could try the self-defense thing. If they jack the self-defense thing, then we good. But if they jack that it's not self-defense, I hate to lose a friend, man. I hate to lose another friend because I'm gonna have to tell them what you did. Nah, yo, Juke, I appreciate that, man. A dollar, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Do you listen to AR Ab? I like AR Ab, man. The Preacher Crew joint gonna do numbers. Yeah, it's doing good. I got two more loaded up. I got a 30 something minute one, and I got another 20-minute something one. I just pieced it out, put it in pieces, and I'm gonna do one a day. Somebody told me don't release them in the same day, and I was also told don't make it an hour video. So I'm going by the YouTube rules, but I did that myself. I did that with my phone off of CapCut and iMovie. So I did a little bit of both. I've been learning though. It's only been like 3 weeks. I figure in like another month or so I'll be nice. I just gotta keep buying storage. Let me see. I'm gonna try to answer all the comments and moving too fast. So gonna sing like a canary. You know it. Don't kill nobody in front of me. You better ask all them other niggas. Nah, so did you actually snitch? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I got jammed up. My nigga, I asked, did you know anybody from my block 167 in Shiesty Sheridan Ave? 167 Sheridan? 167 Sheridan? Not off the top of my head, but I know the area though. Not off the top of my head. I know the hood though. I know the block. Thank you for quality content and prosperity. I enjoy watching your stream while taking my morning dump. This nigga here. Jim Jones, Fat Joe, or Karis One, or Big Pun. You asking me, if I had to pick one? Hold on. I noticed something here. All these niggas is Bronx rappers except Jimmy. Jimmy is not from the Bronx. Jimmy is from Harlem. He says he's from my block. He's not from my block. So you gotta take Jim Jones off of there. But I'll go with Big Pun. Yeah, Jimmy's not from the Bronx. Jimmy's from Harlem. Jimmy says he's from Weeks Avenue. I'm from Weeks Avenue, and I never seen him on my block. So I'm gonna have to say Jimmy's not from the Bronx. Don't listen to everything they say. Is Fetty out? Will Jones ever be out like you and Thiggs? Jones coming home. Jones gonna do the right thing. He gonna get out. He gonna get up under them that 30 years. That's a fact. Been to the Bronx twice. Spofford. Yeah, I've been to Spofford too, man. Spofford was a bad place to be in. Did you ever see the Chicago stuff in the pen they got going on? Yeah, Glock Dookie. Did you ever see that Chicago stuff in the pen they got going on? Glock Dookie. I don't know what you mean by Glock Dookie. Glock Dookie. It sounds familiar. I don't know why that term. I'm old, so I know the term, but I don't remember what the term mean though. Are you monetized yet? Yeah, I've been monetized for like a couple weeks now. Do a money spread, little bro. I see 1K at least. What you mean a money spread? What's that mean? You gotta break that down to me. I'm old. Not the alopecia. Oh shit. Why I did my black? How the fuck I do that? Then I gotta stay with the goofy green background because I don't know what I just did. Fuck I just do with the how did I do that? Jim is you oh, you mean to say Jim is underrated? Jimmy is from Staten Island. Southern rap is best. Oh no, jail shit, bro. You don't wanna know Glock Dookie Big bro. Nah, yeah, I don't know what that is. It sound familiar, but I don't know what you're talking about. Oh shit, and them oh, you talking about chemical warfare. That ain't no Chicago shit. Niggas do that everywhere. Oh, okay. Niggas locked up. Half a brick, whole brick, old bricks. Hey, put Bam bottle pitch up there. My son Bam, put Bam up there. What about what about Boogie with the hoodie? He from the Bronx. Yeah, he from the Bronx. Yeah, I know A Boogie. That I know A Boogie. A Boogie been around for a little minute now. Oh, young shit, spread money on your arm. Nah, nah, I don't do that kind of shit. That money I showed in the video, I had just bust a move, so I kind of spreaded the money on my arm. I don't be doing that kind of shit though. You lost all rep when you snitched, Sally. Yeah, I guess. I don't know why you said Sally though. I don't know why you said Sally. It'd have been sad if I didn't snitch. Then I wouldn't be here. I'll be locked up. I get what you're saying though. So now I know you, my nigga. Neon and my nigga died, B. I remember BK in 88. He brought me to your block. You 47, so you was most definitely younger than me and me, younger than me back then. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, knock, that was the big homie. Yeah, that was my son. His little brother was my man. His little brother Poopy, Vernon, that was my man. Yeah, Vernon was my man, Poopy. Knock was my OG. I put a nigga locked up. Fuck it. Oh, how who died? How Knock died? Knock OD'd on E pills. I think it like burst his heart. Yeah, subscribe to my channel, y'all. Hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, knock he OD'd. He was taking e-pills and he caught a bad trip and he OD'd and died and shit. He had a heart attack. Glad I'm free. I'm glad I'm free too. The streets been done years ago. Can't bring back people from under the tomb, and lifers wish they never got knee deep in the streets. Please put my hat back with. Yeah, I shitted people down before. I shitted people down before. Used to take a peanut butter jar, take a shit, put it in there, put some piss, put it in there. You know what I mean? Take some eggs. Although you only get 2 eggs in a box though. But you take an egg, let that shit cook for like 3, 4 days. Yo, if you put feces in a plastic jar with the lid sealed, it'll blow up. Well, yeah, that was probably like 99, 2000. But I used to do that shit. And they give you these little shampoo bottles with a little squeeze top. And you shake that shit, you put it in the squeeze top, and then you spray it out the side of the door. But they started giving people charges for that. You was with Knock every day, then I gotta know you. If you talking about Knock, Jesus love me, appreciate you. Jesus loves you too. If you talking about Knock, then you gotta know me, cause that was my big bro. 88, I was about 9 years old though, so I probably wouldn't remember you. What's the worst casualty you saw with the GD? Um, I seen a nigga get hit in his face. I seen niggas get hit in their face. Cause when you get searched, right? We used to go to the yard. I seen this in the feds though. In the feds, you be in dog kennels. It's like a cage. And each one of y'all be in a dog kennel. And you get searched. So everybody thinks when you coming out, nobody got nothing on them because they search you real good before you come out. And I remember these two dudes had an argument. They had an argument maybe like months prior, and they never got to make it outside at the same time because one of the dudes hardly ever, the dude who had the shit on him, he never really come outside. So these niggas got in an argument, and it probably was like 2, 3 months later. They had to apologize and all that. So dude came to the yard, and in the box you don't get candy, you only get people buy holes. You could get holes because holes is a medication, but because you can't get candy, people buy a lot of holes and they suck on the holes like it's candy. So the dude has some holes, and the other dude, thought that they had squashed it because they had started talking again. So he popped the holes and he offered everybody a holes except the guy that he was arguing with. He was in a cage right next to him. Son was like, yo, I could get a hose. He was like, yeah. So he went to hand on the holes, and when son unwrapped the holes, as soon as he unwrapped the holes and went to pop the holes in his mouth, son hit him right in his face. Did him bad. And he waited till he was like unwrapping the thing. He timed it just perfectly. Cause in order to put a horse in your mouth, you gotta like, you know what I'm saying? So he timed it perfectly. He waited, and as soon as he went to go like this, he hit him, caught him bad. I know who JoJo World is from Chicago. I don't know him, but I know him from YouTube. You said question. If you knew you was gonna if you knew you would rap, why be around gangsters acting tough, putting on a act like you by the code when you live by the code when you know shit can go left? That's a multi multi that's a bunch of questions in one because One, when I was around gangster shit and doing gangster shit, I was with gangster shit. So it wasn't like I was hanging around doing gangster shit and pretending knowing I was going to tell. That's not the case. I stopped doing gangster shit back in 2011, back in 2012. I got locked up in 2016, 2017 and told. I got locked up in 2017 and I told in 2017. I had stopped doing gangster shit in 2012. Now, I don't consider selling drugs gangster shit. Some people might consider it gangster shit, but selling drugs is usually an ends to a means. Like people sell drugs to get money. Doesn't make you a gangster, doesn't make you tough. So I was still selling drugs, but I wasn't doing gangster shit no more. I had stopped shooting off guns. I had stopped robbing people, kidnapping people, shooting at people, taking murders for hire. I had got out of all of that life way before I told. But when I was doing that, I was a part of that life, if that makes any sense. So I wasn't around acting like I was going to shoot, rob, kidnap, and then I got locked up and told. That's not what happened. Yeah, when he ate the holes, he shot him like almost in his mouth. He didn't get him directly in his mouth, but he got him good though. Some of it probably splashed in his mouth though. Just got back from overseas. Have you ever tried? Came inside a. No, that don't sound good, but no. If you trapping, you need a get Glitsky. Oh, you need a hammer? Nah, I really didn't need a hammer. Damn, so you beat up innocent people? Nah, I never beat up nobody. I mean, when I was a kid, yeah. When I was a kid, remember back in '94, you got jumped outside the deli and started crying? '94, jumped outside the deli and started crying in '94? I don't remember that. I don't remember that. You remember that? What deli? What you talking about? Yeah, I don't remember that. You gotta be more specific. But I got jumped. Everybody got jumped. I mean, I'm from a neighborhood. We got jumped all the time. So I'm not acting like I didn't like I just don't know what you're talking about. I'm trying to see if you trolling or you for real. I got jumped all the time. I got jumped mad times. If you really from the hood, you from somewhere, from the hood. Brooklyn, Bronx, Chicago, LA. I don't know nobody that's in the hood that's you know, in the streets that never been jumped. It's impossible not to be jumped. So you're not saying nothing, you know what I mean? Like that I would try to deny. Only a nigga that's not in the streets or never been in the streets or know about the streets and try to act like being jumped is something so horrific. Nigga, it happens to the best of us. I got jumped mad times. Fuck is you talking about? I got jumped mad times and I jump people. It goes both ways. I got jumped one time. I pissed on myself. Salute. So Will TV in the chat. Yo, what's up, bro? Gotta give it to him. He not trying to be tough. He legit. Don't remember. Yeah, I got jumped a few times. My first time I did cry, but I was a whole adult now. I got jumped. Yeah, jumped is initiation when they be your friends. Yeah. Do I worry about my karma coming back to me? Shit, it did came back to me. It came back to me a lot of times. But I do a lot of things to alleviate a lot of karma, man. You know, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. I got robbed. I got robbed. The last two times I got robbed, I wasn't even robbing no more. I got robbed in Pennsylvania. I got robbed twice in Pennsylvania. You know what I'm saying? I got robbed a few times, but I try to do things to offshoot the karma. I believe you could offshoot the karma. I believe if you do a bad deed that you have to pay for karmatically, I believe if you do two or three good deeds I think you could alleviate that, or you do one little bullshit, but you do something big that's good. I think you could reverse it. Yeah, I've been stopped that. I've been stopped that. What I got booked for the last time I got booked, I had a drug case. I had a federal drug case. I was out in Pennsylvania. I was out in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. What you snitched for? Was it a RICO? Nah, it wasn't a RICO. I had a bullshit drug case in Pennsylvania. It wasn't no crazy serious case, but um I was a career criminal. I was a category 6. I don't know if you understand federal guidelines, but I was a category 6. You know what I'm saying? And an armed career criminal, and I had a 22-man indictment. I was the head of the indictment. So because I was a career criminal, and I was a category 6, which is the worst you could be, even though I had a bullshit drug case, that would have gave most people in the feds would only got like 7 years for that. 5, 7, 8 years. You know what I'm saying? But because of my record, I was looking at like 20 something years. You know what I'm saying? So I told, you know what I mean? I knew about a bunch of murders, and I gave up the murders. Told about 17 different bodies that I had information on. I told about 6 bodies that was unsolved. I probably solved like 4 murders that was unsolved. I helped solve like 4 murders and shit like that. I did a lot. You know what I mean? A lot of that shit was eating on my conscience, especially, those who not familiar with the channel. But, when I was 12 years old, I witnessed my first body when I was 12. You know what I'm saying? And some dudes, we need to collaborate. We need to corroborate your story. I mean, can we see your paperwork? How you see people usually want to see your paperwork when you saying you didn't tell. I said I told. So what the fuck you want to see? Yeah, I was 12 years old when I witnessed my first body. You know what I'm saying? And tell us how you got robbed. Nah, his little brother didn't kill him. His little brother didn't know who killed him. I knew, and his little brother his little brother was my best friend, one of my best friends at the time. But I knew, you know what I mean? I used to climb out my window at night on weeks. My window was on the first floor, so if my window was only like 10 feet from the ground, so I used to could climb out my window and leave my window open. The reason why I used to climb out is because my front door. I don't know if you know them old New York doors in them old apartment buildings. They make a lot of noise when you open them. You know what I'm saying? All you really had to do was put oil, but at the time we know nobody took time to oil the door. So my grandmother used to sleep light. So if I opened the front door to go outside, she would hear me leaving. So what I used to do is I used to just climb out the window, go outside, hang out with the older dudes, and then about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, I climb back in the window. So on one of them nights, I was outside drinking 40s and shit with the older niggas, and I was about 12 at the time, outside drinking 40s, smoking with the older niggas, and one of the dudes had got beat up. He came up the block. His lip was busted. His nose was busted. So my man brother was nice with his hands. He was real nice with his hands, but he smoked crack. So he beat the young boy up and took his drugs. But that's like the second, third time he had did that. So they told me to go ask him to come up the block to test some new work that they had, some new drugs. So they was like, yo, go knock on the door and tell him to come up the block so he could test some new work. And they probably had me knock because they probably knew they was gonna kill him and they didn't want to go knock on the door and have to kill him. Or maybe they thought that by me going, it wouldn't look as bad as one of them going because I used to hang out with his brother. I don't know why they sent me. They could have went for real, but maybe like I said, they knew they was gonna kill him, and they didn't want to be the last person that his family seen him with. So I go knock on the door, tell them what they said, like, yo, they got some work. They said come up the block. They got some work for you to test. And he went up the block, and he walked up the block, and I took my time going up the block, and they shot him up. You know what I mean? They shot him up, and when they shot him up, I ain't even go back up the block. I just ran, climbed back up in my window, And by the time I got in my window, I looked back out the window and I seen him crawling. He was crawling to his building where I went and got him from. And then one of the dudes ran, stood over him and shot him some more, finished him. And then them niggas all went to the funeral. The next day, the one who killed him, I'm not making this up, maybe like a day or two later, the guy who got killed, sister was smoking with the guy who actually killed him. He was smoking a blunt with her. I seen him console her at the funeral. I seen the same dude hug the mother. He came to the cookout. All the dudes who was there, they came to the cookout and everything. Word up. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't wait to tell on that. I had that shit in my spirit. So when it came time for me to cooperate, you know what I mean? That was one of the ones that I was kind of eager to give up because it was on my consciousness, you know what I'm saying, for years. You know what I mean? And like I always tell people, that was the one that kind of that was the one that kind of that's the one that kind of twisted my psyche because even though when I was young, you know what I mean? At this time, I'm doing a lot of fighting because I didn't have no older brothers. So I'm from a block where everybody fought. So I'm doing a lot of fighting and shit because I ain't had no older brothers. But it was at that time, even though I was young, that's when I realized that I was going to be a shooter. Yeah, nah, he was way older than me. If I was 12, them niggas was probably like 18, 19. So they wasn't my peers. They wasn't I hung out with them. I used to do robberies with them because like I said, I used to sneak out my window, climb out the window and go hang out with them at night. So they used to go down the block to the park and do robberies and shit. I used to go with them to do robberies and shit like that. But that wasn't my group. There was two other groups. There was my group. There was a group over us, and then that group was this group that I was with that night. That was the older group. So my group was like the 11, 12, 13, and then there was a group that was like 17, 14, 15, 16, or 6, 15, 16, 17. That was the middle group, and then it was the 18, 19, 20-year-old group. So this was like the older group. They used to be the ones out at like 2 in the morning. I used to just sneak out my window and go outside and hang out with them. You know what I mean? But after they got away with that murder, I seen how the dude who actually did it, I seen how everybody started treating him. Like everybody started fearing him and treating him with respect. And I had made my mind up that that's what I wanted to do. I already said it. I said the minute I get my hand on the gun, I'm gonna do the same thing. Cause I wanted that respect. I didn't want to have to keep fighting and keep having to prove my name and prove myself every night, every day. I was young. I already had it in my mind. So when I get my hands on the gun, I'm gonna shoot somebody. It sounds crazy, but it's reality. You know what I mean? Nobody from prison would brag this much. This guy's fake. Whatever. How did they treat you? Oh, you saying the dudes who got away with it? They respected me too. I was kind of embraced because they knew I knew. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't tell nobody. They knew I knew, and they knew I ain't tell nobody. So they embraced me. You know what I'm saying? They embraced me. How come you can't hear the smoke alarm? The battery died. You need a job, bro. Get out of grandma's basement. I do have a job. YouTube. I guess you ain't watched my videos. I got a whole video on me cleaning up credit. I clean up credit. We've been reselling houses. We do clean outs. We do property management. I do have a job actually. Just not a job like you got. I just don't punch nobody clock. Nah, I never heard about a nigga that won 300 million from suing a prison. I wish I knew that nigga. When did you first let corn fly? What you mean corn fly? You mean like that? That's what you mean? But yeah, I got robbed in PA. God bless you. God bless you, Dior. Yeah, I got robbed in PA. Oh, lad. Ah, did Mac ever put any work? Yeah, in jail. He wasn't doing nothing in the streets. Um, I probably was like 14. I was like 14. I was with a dude named Storm. I don't know if y'all heard the Hell Rell videos when I recorded Hell Rell saying he wanted me to put somebody in jail. Well, the dude he wanted me to put in jail was a dude named Storm. I'm familiar with Weeks Ave. My pops probably know y'all or some of y'all because Amsterdam, like Harold mentioned so many interviews, is where my pops and uncle used to slide Acaras on BBs. Yeah, I know we know people from Amsterdam, from Broadway in Amsterdam over that way. Go ahead and go to up there. Philly is getting gritty. Philly is not getting gritty. Philly been gritty. Philly's a bad place. How you got booked or booked some shit? Oh yeah, well I was in PA. I was selling work weight in PA when I got the case that I told on that I got locked up for. Well, around that time I was selling weight to niggas too. I was selling niggas ounces, halves, not no birds or nothing like that, but and this nigga called me for some work, and it's crazy because I never liked it. The nigga, had tattoos on his face. You know them Philly niggas be tattooing their face. He was a Philly nigga, and the nigga called me, and just something told me because I had people coming to the house, but something told me don't meet this nigga in the house. Something told me I just felt it. So um, I went outside. I went to go serve the nigga, and when I went to serve him, he backed out on me. So what I did was he was trying to get me to go in the house, but if he'd have went in the house, it'd have been a shootout. Because my little brother was in the house. He had a gun on. He had a 40 on him. He kept it on him because we was inside a trap house. So when a nigga backed out on me, I probably had like 2, 3 thousand on me, and I was going to see him and somebody else. I can't remember what he asked me for, but I think I probably had like 5 or 6 8 balls bagged up in my hand. So what I did was I threw everything on the floor. When he backed out, he was trying to tell me take him back in the house, but he didn't know where I came from because I came around the back and he caught me in the alley. So he was like, "Nigga, take me in the crib," and I was like, "Nah, here, take it." So the money I had, I probably had like 2 grand in 20s, and I threw that on the floor and I threw the work on the floor. I wanted him to have the odds like, nigga, if you shoot me, you ain't gonna really have time to pick all this money up or pick the work up. So I just threw it at him and threw the shit on the floor. And he had the gun on me and he was like trying to pick up everything. Nigga got one hand, he got the gun, he trying to pick up shit. He was like, yo, don't move, don't move. I just kept backing up. And then as soon as I got to where, like, it's like an alley. So as soon as I backed out of the alley, I was backing up slowly out the alley, and as soon as I got to the where I could go like this to the side, I ducked to the side and I ran. But yeah, the nigga robbed the shit out of me. A Philly nigga robbed the shit out of me. Word up, that nigga robbed me. But it happens though. Yeah, I never seen him again, but I seen his little brother. I seen his little brother in jail. And I was gonna beat his little ass. I was gonna beat his little ass, but he ain't had nothing to do with it. He ain't had nothing to do with it. But he got me though. Nah, I didn't leave my little brother. My little brother was in the house. We had a trap house. We was trapping out the house. This nigga wasn't no drug addict. He was a drug dealer. And he had called me for like 3 or 4 balls or something. I can't remember what it was, but I had him and somebody else waiting. So I started to tell him to come in the house, but something just told me don't. I ain't never trusted him. Nigga had tattoos on his face. You know what I'm saying? And then I was in a part of PA. Like whenever you got Philly niggas in like Harrisburg and Wilkes-Barre or where else I was at? We was in yeah, Harrisburg, York, or Scranton or Wilkes-Barre. Whenever you got Philly niggas in those type of places, a lot of them Philly niggas be on the run. They be on the run for homicides, robberies, all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like New York niggas. Most New York niggas that be out there, they be on the run. You know what I mean? But son never, he ain't rub me right. He ain't rub me right. And he kept asking me, I think he kept asking me like, where am I at? Where am I at? Or something just, it didn't seem right that day. And but I never brought him to that house though. But if I'd have brought him to that house, it probably have been messy because my little brother probably have shot that nigga, or he'd have shot one of us, or they'd have got into a shootout in the house. We ain't even had a car at that time. You know what I'm saying? So we'd have been stuck. I'd have been in PA facing a whole bunch of time. But I'm glad I went with my instinct and I met the nigga outside. You know what I mean? And I feel like if I would have handed him all the work and all the drugs, he'd have tried to force me to go in the house. Or he'd have shot me for not taking him in the house. So I just thought smart and I just threw everything on the floor because If I'm doing a stick up, I'm not gonna shoot you and not get the money. The object is to get the money. So if I'm in this alley and all the money and the drugs is right here on the floor, and I'm broke, because he probably was broke, then he gonna be like, damn, it's like $3,000 right here. I done came up like $3, $4,000 right here. You know what I'm saying? So he just gonna pick it up and leave. If I would have handed it to him, say I'd have handed him all the money and all the drugs, he would have took the gun and made me take him in the house. You know what I'm saying? And it would have been bad. So that's why I just threw everything on the floor, because you can't do both. You can't shoot me and then pick up all his money off the floor. You can't do both. You know what I'm saying? And it was broad daylight. But yeah, he got me. He got the shit out of me. Actually, I've been robbed in the Bronx too. I was robbed in the Bronx when I was a kid. But at gunpoint, both times I got robbed in gunpoint was in PA. In 2015 that I just told y'all about, that happened in Wilkes-Barre. And then I got robbed in Harrisburg too. I got robbed in Harrisburg back in 2000. A nigga came in the spot and laid me and my man, rest in peace, my man Magic. Nigga came in the spot and laid us down in the spot. Word. Some crack. That was a crackhead. This crackhead nigga was robbing everybody. And he ended up robbing the shit out of us. He took my shines. Nah, I didn't have no jewelry on. I just had money. Hold on, hold on. Oh, he sound like a fiend. I don't think he was, but he could have been. You never know. Was you selling how much was you selling zips for out there? Damn, bro, I can't even remember. I can't remember. I can't remember. What year was that? 15, 16. It wasn't nothing too crazy. I think balls was going for 175, which made it like 50 a gram. So I think them niggas was paying like 50 a gram out there. So you do the math. 50, like that'd have been like 1,500. It probably was like 14, 13, 14 something. Something like that. Niggas was nah, I'm lying. They wasn't paying. Balls was 175, and that's basically 50 a gram for an 8 ball. But when they get an ounce, it wouldn't have been that. So let's say at 50 a gram, that would have been almost 15. That'd have been 1450, right? Yeah, 1450 for an onion. Yeah, it was like 1375, some shit like that. Some shit like that. It was a lot of money because the fiends out there was buying balls for 250. Fiends was buying balls for like 250, 300 out there. It was a lot of money out there. I ain't gonna lie. When they was 1200, yeah. Where the biggest Uda smoked dope back in the day. Oh yeah, okay. Were you ever a jack boy? Yeah. Man, it ain't a sin I ain't commit, man. I did everything, man. I ain't never like take no sexual favors from a woman though. I never did that. I never did that, but every other sin I done committed them all, bro. I done robbed, I was kidnapping, everything. Hired gun, everything. Getaway driver. I was bad. Pimping, prostitution. I was horrible, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was one of them niggas that did anything. You know what I mean? At one point, I started changing late in life. Like you know what I mean? Like maybe the last 14 years, I've been gradually becoming a better person. But when I was a little nigga, I was bad. I was fucked up. You know what I mean? How I became a pimp, man. I became a pimp by accident, man. How will I leave this world better than I found it? I don't think one human being could ever leave the world better than they found it. I don't think that's for one human being to do. That's for us to do as a collective. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if I could teach some of these youths the demonic messages in this hip hop music, if I could teach some of these youths not to follow in the footsteps that I follow, then I might have made it just a little bit better. And I believe that's what I'm here to do. That's right. You do. You're right. Life does feel lighter when you decide to spread joy. That's a fact. You still terrible. Don't lie. Man, I pray and meditate every day. I asked the creator and the most high to fill me with way more joy. I ask every day to remove the spirit of anger, the spirit of misery, the spirit of deceit, the spirit of lust, the spirit of lies, the spirit of adultery. I ask every day to remove these spirits out of my heart and out of my soul. Every day I do. But you're right though. It is way more lighter to spread your truth and to be who you are and to be naturally when you gotta lie and pretend and put on this bravado and feed pride. It is very, 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 very hard to do that. You never lie. What am I capping about? If these little homies listen to you, they might not catch a fade in the future. I mean, hopefully, hopefully. It's not for I don't think I'm gonna change anybody that's mind is already made up. I'm trying to reach those who was like me. Even though when I was in the streets, I was always striving for to be better. I was always looking, I like the conspiracy theories, you know what I'm saying? I was somewhat religious. I was always curious about the world and about life. And it wasn't until like 2010 till somebody put me on the Craig T. Lewis and I started watching EX Ministries and he basically broke down how people in hip hop was into satanic rituals and stuff like that. And that changed my life because watching that video, it opened up my eyes that there was more going on down here than I thought. Because you could read a bunch of conspiracies about, the Vanderbilts, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. You could read about all of that. You could read about, the fake vaccines and AIDS and racism and all that. You could read all of that shit. But when it hit home to my community, the African American community in the ghetto, and when somebody showed me how they was using music to program our minds and our spirits and open up our bodies to possession and attachments, spiritual attachments, when I was shown that, it changed me. I began to change at that moment. I'm not saying I completely changed because I didn't. You know what I mean? I got busted in 2016. I was still selling drugs. So here that was how much long was that? From 2010 to 2016. You know what I mean? So I still didn't completely change. And then here it is, 2026. This is what is that? 16 years later. And I'm still a working in process. I don't do a lot of shit. Like I'm not committing crimes. I'm not lying. I'm not stealing. I don't even cheat on my girl no more. You know what I mean? I haven't cheated in about a year. So I'm not gonna act like I'm perfect, but I haven't cheated. I've never been this faithful this long. You know what I mean? I've been changing. I've been changing. I've been checking a lot of my thoughts, feelings, and emotions as they arise. You know what I mean? And I had a spiritual awakening in 2012, but I'm not gonna, when I tell people that, I don't want people to think that completely changed. No, when I had my spiritual awakening, the devil came at me even more, and sometimes I would go back to what I was doing before. You know what I mean? For real. And when you actually decide that you want to live with God and you want to deny the devil, when you actually make that real decision, I'm not saying like I did it wholeheartedly, but I did make the decision like, yo, this is what I'm doing. When you wholeheartedly feel like that's what you want to do, the devil's going to come at you even harder. If lust is your thing, the woman you've been trying to have sex with for the last 2 years or 3 years, she going to hit you in your DM. Like, come on, I want you. That's how it is. If gambling is your thing, everywhere you go, somebody gonna be playing dice, or you're gonna get, free rooms at the casino, whatever it is, you know what I mean. Whatever it is, your vice is, and mine was women. You know what I'm saying? I had stopped shooting people. I had stopped robbing people. I had stopped, doing those acts of violence. But I was married, so because lust was one of my things and gambling was one of my things. So even though I wasn't physically hurting people, I was physically hurting my wife. And I was abusive to her physically, mentally, spiritually. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't running the streets hurting people no more, but I was hurting the one person that I shouldn't have been hurting. I was still doing wrong. You know what I mean? And I was getting a lot of money, but I was gambling and I was losing a lot of money. So the devil kept me chasing my tail, kept chasing my tail, money. I just kept chasing my tail. I wasn't robbing people for it. I wasn't hurting. Well, I was hurting people because when you're selling drugs, you're actually hurting people, whether you see it or not. You know what I mean? Those women who bringing you $70 every day. How does this drug addict is able to bring you $70 every day? What kind of job would she have to be able to afford $70 a day? That's a day's wages for most jobs. You know what I mean? So I was still hurting people. I was still doing fucked up stuff. Let me see. True, true, true. Yeah, I have a wife, but we're separated. And I'm with a whole nother woman. So living in sin right now, to be honest, for the most part, to be if you believe the Bible stories. That's right. The shape of true love isn't a diamond, it's a cross. Amen. Amen. Amen and amen. With those nostrils, can you snort hella coke? I don't snort coke. Should we stop seeking answers from the world who crucified a perfect man? Should we stop seeking answers from a world who crucified a perfect man? Man, this world crucified men every day. You know what I'm saying? Do you ask for a pat on your back for doing what you're supposed to be doing? I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm not asking nobody for it. I don't look for gratification from another human being. That's the first thing of conquering pride. You know what I mean? That's what pride is. Pride is basically anyone who's based their life on the opinion of another man. So a pat on the back would be me seeking the opinion of another human being. And I don't seek gratification or justification from another human being. I seek it from spiritual beings, not from another human. I'm asking for angels. I'm asking for high levels, light forces to assist me. I'm asking for the administrators of karma to take my plea up to the most high, to the all in all, and ask for forgiveness for some of the things that I've done. I don't, if I have to come on here and be like, yeah, I told on people, I've snitched, and to air out who I am, that shows you that I'm not gonna say I don't care because that's a bad term to use, but whatever somebody thinks is that doesn't move me. That's humans who feed their ego. You know what I mean? I still have an ego. I fight it every day, but I don't feed it, if that makes any sense. For me to say I don't have an ego, I'll be lying. You know what I'm saying? But I fight it every day. I don't feed it. That's the difference. It exists. I haven't annihilated it completely. And just because I don't act off of it, but I know it exists. I know it exists. Pride, ego, they exist. They're still there. I haven't killed them completely. Even anger. I may have not done a act of anger in a long time. I haven't even shot a gun in over 15 years. You know what I'm saying? 2010, 16 years. I haven't shot a gun in over 16 years. I haven't shot somebody in this makes 20 years. 2016, 06, 2006 was the last time I shot another human being. I haven't done that since. You know what I'm saying? Or stabbed or cut. I haven't done that in about 16 years. 2010 was the last time, I was shooting my gun off and cutting people and robbing people and stuff like that. I haven't done that in a long time. You know what I mean? But pride, ego, lust, those things I still fight. I still fight them. I still fight them every day. and I do my best not to feed them. Am I a sharp shot? No, I'm a horrible. 53 days sober. Oh, you? That's what's up, bro. I fight my weed habit. I don't feed it. 53 days sober. Weed ain't that bad though. I belong in jail. Maybe I do. Some of the thing I'm not gonna some of the things I've done, I'm probably should have been in jail. Yeah, I ain't smoking about a month. I don't smoke every day. I smoke every now and again. Like every 2, 3 months, I smoke, but I'll smoke for like 3 days straight, and then I might not smoke for another 4 or 5 months. When I smoke, I get inspired. I start writing shit. I start reading my Bible. I start writing shit. You know what I mean? Sometimes I smoke, but I do it ritualistically. You know what I mean? Even though I probably shouldn't, but I do it sometimes. You try to get your CDL, or that's why you start smoking. That's what's up. Squares away. I'm 35 and I've never smoked, vape, drank, done any other substances in my whole life. That's good, beloved. When they don't know what the other person did. It's easy to put jail on somebody when you ain't never been there. And I've been there and I still put jail on niggas, but I don't be wishing somebody in jail like, you know what I mean? I don't be wishing people in jail. Less you unaliving people or you harming little children, you know what I'm saying? Some niggas like that, they need to be in. Some people, listen, I've been to jail, right? And this is my gripe with street niggas, a lot of street niggas, right? I've been in prison. Some niggas deserve to be in prison. That's what people don't realize. I've been in prison. Some niggas deserve to be in prison. Some people don't need to be here walking amongst us in society. Some of these niggas need an exorcism. Word to mother. Some niggas need an exorcism. It ain't even about prison. It's like spiritually they have to change. They're feeding a demon that's so strong. They're not gonna be able to change that. A person who essays a child or little children, you can't fix that person. There ain't no fixing him. He can't just wake up tomorrow and say, "All right, I'm not attracted to little babies," or "I'm not attracted." Yeshua loves you too, beloved. You know what I'm saying? You can't change that type of person. That doesn't come from somebody just waking up tomorrow. No, that person has to be doused with holy water. That person has to say the name of Christ over and over again. Somebody has to cast out a spirit in the name of Christ. That person has a spirit. That person could be and controlled by a demon. It could be a demon in a human body. You think everybody that you see ain't a human soul moving that body or moving these lips or making these eyes work. Behind this veil, sometimes it might be a spirit that's not that person that was born into that body. That's a fact. That's a fact. So I done been in prisons with niggas that don't need to be home. And I'm not just talking about like people who do stuff to children or, take, you know, essay acts from women. I'm talking about some of them people that be unaliving. Some people live to unalive people. A couple of the brothers that I put in prison, that's what they love to do. They got a thrill at from unaliving people. And the whole world could be like, free this person or free that person, because there's a gang of them that come in my lives and be like, free Shark or free James, free this, free that. Man, them dudes was killers, man. They want to kill. They want to kill. They have to kill. That's the way they need to release. That's the way they feed their demon. Like how some people might, they think might be drugs. Some people they think might be, smexing. Some people gambling. Some people is unaliving. I've met people like that who need to unalive people. Those people don't need to be in society, brother. You know, even at what age? Free my son. Free my son. Yeah, free my son. Free who? If they let all the killers out, what we gonna do? I don't know where y'all from, but New York is horrible. Imagine if they let all them niggas out the mountains. Just the two niggas that I put in, that I helped put away. If them two niggas was home right now, they gonna boost. They gonna boost. it's gonna be 5 extra unalivings a year due to them, just them 2 brothers right there alone, if not more. You know what I mean? One of them was 18 when he was doing that. So imagine what the 30-something-year-old him would do. I think he about 34 now. Imagine what the 34-year-old him would do. Now he's a gang leader. So now he got a whole gang behind him. Imagine what the death and destruction a person like that will cause in society. So everybody's so quick to say free this one and free that one. You know, when you hear them shots and you got a teenager, you know, a teenage son or nephew or brother, and they outside, every time you hear them shots, you wondering if that's them. What if your nephew or your brother or your husband or wife will get caught in the crossfire because this idiot outside shooting his gun off? And I didn't think like that when I was out there doing it. You know what I mean? I didn't think like, but I wasn't no killer. I done shot niggas. I tried to, unalive people when I was young and stupid, but I wasn't no killer. I didn't get a high off of pulling the trigger on somebody. I didn't. I was scared. Every time I did it, I was scared. When I did it, after I did it, before, after, I was scared. You know what I mean? I seen a nigga, this little nigga, he used to kill people and go right upstairs and play the video game, act like nothing ain't even happened. You ever see Old Dog, how Old Dog in Minister Society, when he shot the dude and was like, hey, y'all want these cheeseburgers? Y'all don't want these cheeseburgers? After he done shot the dude laying on the ground dying, he still talking about some damn cheeseburgers. That was this little nigga. That's what he was. He was a real life Old Dog. And people it'd be a bunch of them in the live talking about free him. Nigga, you don't really want that nigga free. You really want that nigga free? You don't want that nigga free. Or little Chulo. They killed Chulo mother. He killed like 2 people. He came out of jail. He was out of jail and there was a shooting on his block and everybody, oh, Chulo home. He was shoot every day he was shooting. Then he finally killed 2 people. The feds locked him up. They gave his little ass 75 years. But a nigga like Chulo, you don't want a nigga like, who wants somebody like that in the community? Who's shooting the block up every day? Do you really want somebody like that in the community? I wish I was from the suburbs. Prison don't correct people. Most people just go there and get out and go back and reoffend, and it's just a place to go and meet more criminals in politics and get out and run criminal enterprises. You right. You right. Jail didn't change me. Had to change myself. You right. All I did was meet niggas, other killers from other places and other drug dealers. That's what I would do when I was in Connecticut. When I was going home, I would just take niggas' numbers so I could have more niggas to sell drugs to and more niggas to rob, because I was selling drugs for a little while, and then when they came with a certain amount of money, I would rob them. That's the type of nigga what I was. I was a real piece of shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. I sold drugs just as a means in between big robberies. Drugs just kept money coming in. That fed my gambling habit, my drug habit, my women habit, my clothes habit. That's all of the drug dealing did. It fed my habit and, took care of my family. But I only did that in the process of my next robbery. That's what I didn't get a kick out of selling drugs. I got a kick out of, taking stuff from people. I was fucked up. I was a fucked up little nigga. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Now there's good people that I know that's doing real good business, doing good things out there. They won't deal with me. Not because I told on a bunch of niggas, because I robbed them 10 years ago or 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 30 years ago. I robbed them. I put a gun in their face and took their stuff. They'll never fuck with me. Now I'm a businessman, entrepreneur. I would love to connect with other entrepreneurs in New York, Connecticut, PA, any of the places I've been, but niggas ain't gonna fuck with me. Not because I told, but because in their eyes I'm grimy. And then this telling just makes it even more. Oh, that nigga been grimy. You right, I've been selfish. You know what I mean? Although the telling was selfish, but it was a part of my journey. I had to. You robbed me before, LOL. I probably did. Ain't no telling, man. Peace. Peace, beloved. What's up? Bugged out. bugged out, yo, karma will come back to you. You think you were so tough for robbing. I never said I was tough for robbing nobody. I'm telling you what I did. That's all I'm doing. Somebody asked me a question and I was talking about the question. I never said that I was tough or none of that. You don't got to be tough. Anybody with a pistol don't make you tough. You only could rob somebody because you got a gun and they don't have one. That don't make you tough. So I'm not acting like I was tough for robbing nobody. That don't make you tough. If I got a gun and I shoot you and you don't have one, that doesn't make me tough. It just means I have a gun and you don't. That's all it means. I was never tough. I was scared. If you've been on my live long enough, then I would tell you everything I did because I was scared. I'm not gonna say I shot or beat nobody up because I was tough. I was scared. I was still a scared little boy. I did everything I did out of fear, greed, and envy, not because I was tough or because I was a gangster. I was scared. That's it. I told because I was scared. I shot because I was scared. I cut, stab, punch. I did it all because I was scared. I was a scared little boy. And a lot of people, you know, which I don't know is a lot of the gangsters that you know from your neighborhood or wherever, if you from that environment, because some of us are not. I could tell by the comments, a lot of people here not from, the ghetto. And that's not a good thing either to be from the ghetto. But I'm just saying, if you are from the ghetto, a lot of the gangsters that you know are scared little boys beneath the bravado, beneath the jury, beneath the gangbanging, beneath the scars, the battle wounds, the war stories. Beneath all of that, 9 times out of 10, is a scared little boy. He just put all this on top of himself to where he becomes uh C murder or trigger Tay or robbery Rome, whatever the fuck his street name is. Under those bravados is a scared little boy. There's a little boy who mother probably wasn't there. She probably was smoking crack, and he been in and out of prison his whole life. Underneath all of that is a kid who used to get picked on. He got tired of getting picked on, so he started picking up, you know, pistols. Beneath all of that is a scared little boy. Charles Manson, Richard Ramirez, Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, all these type of dudes, they all were scared little boys. That's what they all got in common. They came in a broken home and they was either molested or abused as a child. You know what I'm saying? They had a father who was abusive. You know what I mean? And then they became something other. They had to become something other to protect themselves from this harm when they was a child. And as they grew and developed, they didn't develop mentally or spiritually, but as an adult, then these acts of violence, they become numb to the violence. This is how you create a sociopath or a psychopath. You know what I mean? You become numb. They become numb to the violence. So they become other than what their mother created them to be. They become other than what the Most High created them to be. And that's the end result is the serial unaliver or the rapist or the molester. A lot of these people, they've been through stuff. Look at R. Kelly. He's been through something. You know what I'm saying? If y'all look at Hassan Campbell, if y'all know who Hassan Campbell is, he seems like he's real angry. It's because he's been through something. You know what I'm saying? I've been molested too. I'm not angry. You know what I'm saying? I was angry. I was very angry. You know what I'm saying? And when you get molested or you get abused or you've been abused or you've been neglected by your mother or your father, whoever you've been neglected by, it does change you. There's a spirit that comes in and protects you. Well, it doesn't really protect you. It makes you the predator. It changes you from the prey to the predator. Most of us, some of us that get raped, molested, or neglected, some of those people turn out to be some of the best human beings on the face of this planet because they don't do what was done to them. Those are the ones where angel comes and helps that person. Then the angel came to protect that child, and that child never became a molester or an abuser or an alcoholic or whatever it is that was going on in their home. Some people never become that. They become the complete opposite, right? But then you have me and the ones just like me. We become exactly what was done to us. That's who we become. And it's only through the grace of God and a higher power to you for you to combat that and become better than that. You know what I'm saying? It's not a psychological thing. I mean, it starts psychologically, but it's a spiritual thing. You was gonna say what? Damn straight, Paul. Defense mechanism, yeah. Who would y'all two who would be fired, no cap? Yeah, a lot of people are scared. That's what it is. It's fear. You know what I'm saying? That's how come if you ever watch CSI or if you ever watch any of them kind of shows and they find a woman and she been, assaulted and she been unalived and she been assaulted and somebody might have stuffed her panties in her mouth and all this other stuff. There's a person who comes on the scene and be like, okay, we're looking for a male, a white male in his mid-30s. He's a loner. He had abuse in his home, maybe from his mother. They already know that this kid, for some reason, whoever this individual who did this individual did this because this individual has a hatred for women. How did he develop this hatred for women? Okay, his mother must have been abused, or his mother must have been abusive to him. You understand what I'm saying? They come in and then when they find a person who committed this heinous act, it's actually exactly the person they said it would be. How would they know that he was a loner? How did they know that he was abused as a child? How did they know he liked to wear women's clothing? How did they know this? It's because it's like a recipe. You know how some people you could take gumbo and you could taste the gumbo and the person be like, oh yeah, okay, there's garlic in here, there's salt. Tastes like a little nutmeg, and you could tell everything that's in it. It's the same way. When some people commit certain acts, you could tell everything that had to go into that human being to make that human being enact this certain level of violence. And it's a DNA. It's a recipe. It's a recipe. It's a recipe. You know what I'm saying? And I was like them. Give my brain to science. Uh, I gotta block you for a little while because you wildin'. You talking about fentanyl. We don't deal with in fentanyl. We don't deal in that type of stuff. So we gotta block you because you wildin'. Yeah, I blocked him talking about to give the kids that. Why would you say that? So many relationships these days are toxic. Yeah, you know why the relationships is toxic? It's because the culture, the Bad Girls Club and the Jersey Shores, these reality shows, they promote toxicity. The music promotes toxicity, whether you're listening to Billie Eilish or you're listening to SZA or Summer Walker. Billie Eilish is the white version of SZA. They're not singing about love. They're singing about toxic. Yeah, Lotto. The internet did ruin society. That's right, it did. All of this shit. Yes, I just read this thing that was talking about how people are capable of doing what was done to them. Yeah. And some of us have Stockholm syndrome. I don't know if y'all know what Stockholm syndrome is, but Stockholm syndrome is when you love your abuser, right? So, um, my abuser was the streets. You know what I'm saying? I became just like my mother and my father. My mother wasn't there. My mother was, smoking crack. She don't smoke crack no more, but when she was smoking crack, I was the oldest of all five of her children. And none of my brothers and sisters was ever under the same roof as my mother. I was the only one. She lost me when I was about like 4. You know what I mean? And my grandmoms took me. But I got 4 brothers and sisters that was never raised with my moms. It was a point where she was in the 80s. She just had baby after baby. She'll push them out. They'll put them in the incubator where they put the crack babies. And one of my family members, my grandmother, would take these kids. And then when my grandmother had too many, aunts started taking them. But then we all ended up back with my grandmother anyway. But yeah, my moms would be in and out my life, right? She would come home, say she wasn't gonna smoke crack again. We was about to be a regular family. And every time I would believe her, I go to school, come back, and she'd be gone. So she was constantly in and out my life, right? And I would always believe that when she came home, because she would be gone for years. She'll be gone for a couple years and she'll come home. She used to come home on holidays like Christmas, Thanksgiving. But every time she came home, she would say she was gonna stay and she was gonna get her life together. And every time I believed her, and every time she would leave. So you would think as a kid, you'd be like, damn, you'll be a perfect parent. Like I would never do that to my children. I did the same shit. I wasn't leaving because I was a crackhead. I was leaving because I was selling crack and I would go to prison. Then I would come out of prison, flood my children with gifts and tell them I was never going back to prison. And then I would go back to prison. Then I would get out of prison, flood them with gifts, say I was never going back to prison, and I would go back to prison. I became person, the same shit. Different circumstances, but the same outcome. You know what I'm saying? I'm just blessed that my daughters is not in the streets. So even though they, feel however they feel for me not being present, it's all right because I don't got to worry about them being in the streets. They're actually good women. You know what I mean? That's sick. Bad thoughts. This is so facts. I have learned to remove myself from toxic people with the quickness. You have to. You have to. I remove myself from all toxicity fast. And I guess it comes from being in and out of prison and not having, you know, yeah, I just I don't allow nobody to break my peace. Nobody. I'm not gonna argue back and forth with you. Um, I don't be around Debbie Downers and negative Nancy's. If you a Debbie Downer or a negative Nancy, I don't even want you around me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a glass half full type of guy. If you a glass half empty type of person, I don't even want you around me. You know what I'm saying? Even when it was like I knew somebody when it was snowing, it was this winter was a real bad winter. And every day it snowed and there's people who complained about the snow. But when was the last time we had a blizzard? I was actually happy to see a blizzard. Yeah, you had the shovel. Yeah, it was bad on the roads. I actually totaled my car during it. But even when I totaled my car, I was happy I totaled my car because before I left where I was at, when I didn't total my car, everybody kind of knew my car. And then once I went on YouTube and then people would start to know my car, I was happy because not only did I leave from where I was at, but when I was out there, everybody knew what car I had. So when I lost my car, I didn't even look at that as a bad thing. When you consider, I'm one of the type of people. If something bad happens, let's say I lose all my money, yeah, I'm gonna be mad. Like, damn, I lost my money. I gotta pay my rent. I gotta pay my insurance. I was supposed to do this, this, and this, and this, and that, right? Even though I lost my money, I'm always gonna say there has to be something good in this. I don't see it now, but there's something valuable and it's more valuable than the money. I always look at things like that. Okay, why did this happen, God? Why did this happen, Lord? What's going on? There has to be a reason. So after I get over the initial problem, I always start waiting for the good or the lesson. There's a lesson in that. There's a lesson in everything. You have to pay attention. But if you harp on the fact that you lost the money and I lost the money, and then you every day you talking about it, and then the minute you get some of the money back, some people will still be like, yeah, but if I didn't lose that other money, if I didn't lose that money, I would have had this amount of money and I was supposed to do this, but I lost that money. I don't keep those type of people around me. You can't. You can't keep those type of people around you. They'll give you cancer. They'll give you a brain hemorrhage. They'll give you a heart attack. They'll give you a stroke. They give you people don't understand what, as much as it is important of what goes into your body, you know, not eating the wrong foods and the right foods and working out, it's the same as relationships too. Some people is just as bad as that chocolate cake. Some people is just as bad as a drug addiction. Some people are just as bad as cancer. Some people are human cancer. I have a friend, she actually has cancer right now. And I told her, I said, start telling your family that the cancer's turned around and that is good because that does two things. One, you start not stressing about it and you start putting positive energy into something negative. And if you start saying that you're okay, you'll start being okay. I said, but two, and she said, you are right. I said, you know why you're gonna tell your family that the cancer's going into remission and you straight? Because you don't want people calling you every day just to bask in your misery. Not saying that they're happy you're sick, but some people just love to talk about bad shit. And they just be like, oh, I can't believe you got it. I can't believe you got cancer. Oh, and what's gonna happen when you pass away? They already making funeral arrangements. And every day they call that girl, they just bringing her back into the fact that she has cancer, and her feeling that is what's gonna make the cancer even worse. So when it come time to get treatment and all the other shit that they're gonna do, it's not gonna work because the main people that's around you is constantly talking about death. They're speaking about death. They're speaking about the cancer, giving the cancer strength over you. And they don't even mean to do it purposely, but they're just, in a bad relationship with their baby father, you know, tired of going to work every day, so they can't pay their bills on time. And even though they're not speaking about that to you, but when they talking to you about your cancer, it's kind of a relief of all that they're going through, if that makes any sense. So I don't even keep those type of people around me. My circle is tiny. My circle is real tiny. I'm in a whole nother state that I'm not around nobody that I really know. And the people that I do talk with every day, they're not in the same state with me. And they're positive people. They're all positive people. Nobody don't ring my phone every day or every twice a week that's not positive. If I get a phone call from somebody once a month or twice a month, then it's for something. I'll be like, oh boy, here we go again. Because I don't keep those type of people around me. And I never call them type of people. Because what am I calling you for? I don't want to hear how life sucks and how hard life is and you know what I did on YouTube and what I should have did on YouTube and all of that. I don't keep them. I don't have many friends anyway, to be honest with you. And family doesn't mean the person that you're blood related to. You can meet somebody in the street that'll be a better friend or a better family member to you than your own natural blood. That is a fact. I'm from the Bronx, but I live in Jersey. Jersey's a good place. I'm from the Midwest. Okay. Am I in witness protection? No, I was though. Light worker, come on, man. You was all right. Now you talking crazy. I rebuke death of everlasting life. Yes, Jessica. Yes, yes, sweetie. Yes. I rebuke it. Every day I rebuke it. Keep keep any negative Nancy or Debbie Downer far from your circle and from your circumference. Don't let them come spewing death and destruction or sickness, any of that over your life at all. At all. Remove yourself from it whenever you can, as fast as you can. Is witness protection free with the bills included? LOL, no funny shit. Yo, witness protection, I'm not in it. But yeah, you want to know how the government spends your money on witness protection? Yes, they do. Them niggas get a single male gets about $3,500 a month. They buy them a car outright. You could buy a car between, I think 15,000 is the max. They'll buy you a $15,000 car, but they don't want you to have payments. So they'll buy the car outright. They only buy cars outright. So they'll buy you a car outright. Um, like if I needed to get this fixed because this stands out, I could say, yeah, I want my teeth put together because everybody know I got this gap. Like certain facial features, if I want this big ass nose, I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't get my teeth or my nose fixed, but don't troll me and say that I should, because somebody gonna say that. But yeah, you could get certain features changed if you needed it changed. A single male get about $3,500 a month for 18 months to 2 years. They change all your everything. So if you had bad credit, child support, they clear all that shit away. You start over with brand new credit, brand new social, brand new everything. for you to work on. So not only do you get brand new credentials, but you get $3,500 every month outside of what you're doing. Your car get paid for, and you get benefits, health benefits for the first 18 months to 2 years. So it's actually that's where people tax pays is going. I know niggas right now that I was in witness protection with. They all in Arizona, living in condos. Yeah, you got a yam on your face. Oh, Jesus. What yam? My nose? Nigga said a yam. Shut the fuck. Yo, shut up, man. So putting this on. I got the same damn gap. Cause LOL. Yeah, nah, this gap is good, man. This shit is this is character. A gap is character, man. You know what I mean? Can it be a secondhand car? Yeah, well, you think yeah, it could be whatever car you want. They give you $15,000. They buy it outright though. They don't want you to have a car payment. What they do is they set you up so you don't so your bills won't overwhelm you. So imagine that somebody giving you a free $3,500 a month, right? You get a $15,000 car paid for. That so now you don't got no payments on that, and you could go to work. Now, a man with a family, they say they tack on $1,000 per every family member. So if I get 3,500 by myself, if it was me and my girl, now we get 4,500. If it's me, my girl, and a child, we get 5,500. If it's me, my girl, a child, another child, you get 6,500. They tack on 1,000 for every child. Every you can only bring your immediate family. So if you with a girl, she could bring her children or your children or your wife, but they can only bring the children if the children's baby father is not alive or he signs over the rights. If the person's children don't sign over the rights, like say you got a baby mom's and she got two other kids, if that father can't sign over the rights, then those kids can't go into witness protection. They're gonna change your name and you can't communicate with anybody from your past. But niggas still be doing it though. Niggas still be talking to people. You just can't be on social media. You can't they can't catch you contacting certain people. You know what I'm saying? They remove tattoos. If you wanted to remove a tattoo, if your girl wanted to remove tattoos, they do that. They used to get people titties done. They used to give women body makeovers and all that. They don't do all of that no more. They only change things that stand out, like this nose, these gap teeth. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. I tell them I need a new hairline. I'm like, yo, everybody know I'm going bald. I probably go get the new hairline and shit like that. I'm not too sure if they do that, but they do things to change your identity and shit. But that's where they spend taxpayer money. And these niggas is living in condos and all that, man. Put the cap back on. My shit- It's only right here. For real. All of this is straight. It's only right here and right here. It's like an eight right here. This and this. See, this is straight. It's just right here. All this shit just eight. This whole line right here and then this way. My shit ain't like dead in the middle. It's like curves. It go like this. I'm 47, man. It lasted this long. I swear, I think if I never got locked up that last time, I had a head full of hair. Yeah, they pay for Nah, not no more. They used to pay for BBLs. No paper trail. What you talking about, Carla? Wow, low key remind you of Jay-Z. Everybody say that. It's either Jay-Z, Styles P. I done heard Dr. Dre. I done heard Mace. I don't know. Maybe it just seemed like I just look like money. Eat that cheese, makes your head fall out. You right, it did. You ain't never lie. Wow. A black guy on YouTube Live who isn't preaching the Bible. What is this, the Twilight Zone? Why am I supposed to be preaching the Bible? I actually have my Bible's right here, actually. My Bible's right here. It's wide open. I was just in it. See my Bible? But no, I'm not preaching the Bible. keep speaking about violent people. I'm violent. That's why I'm in boxing, undefeated. Yeah, I could never imagine being a boxer. I would get. At least you doing something positive with the violence, I guess. Thank you again. Have a good night. Okay, Jessica, I appreciate you. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. And I'm gonna have some good videos on here. And those who said about the Bible, I'm gonna have some Bible study videos. Not right now, though. Not right now, but I'm gonna have some Bible study, Bible study videos. I'm gonna have videos on the satanic hold on the hip hop community, Hollywood and hip hop. I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna get into a lot of the cartoons and a lot of the esoteric meanings in the cartoons. I'm gonna put y'all onto a lot, man. I'm gonna put y'all onto a lot. Trust me, and I'm gonna give y'all some biblical studies too. Yeah, thank you, Beasley. I am a little diverse, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not one dimensional at all. You know what I mean? I believe in a higher power. I believe I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior in the terms that He came down here to show us exactly who we were, and that is God, because He said, "Is it not written in your scriptures that you are gods?" And that's who we are. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm still a street nigga in the struggle. I'm still a street nigga. I'm still a street nigga. Like, you know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here. Pit, pit, pole. Get the fuck out of here. I don't know what you're talking about. Did they ever press you in jail to join Islam? Nah, you couldn't press me to do nothing in jail. I was a Muslim though. On my first bid, when I went to NYI, when I was 18, I took my Shahada. I did. I was Muslim for like a couple years. But nobody pressed me. People used to want me to be Muslim though. I went to a lot of Jumu'ah services and Talim services. It's prevalent in there, but Islam could be like a gang sometimes, especially in jail. To be honest with you, that shit is like a jail. It's like a gang. Islam is like a gang in jail for the most part. It's not written in scriptures that we are God. It is it not? It says it's in John 10. John, the 10th chapter, the 34th verse. Christ said, "Is it not written in your scriptures that ye are gods?" Go to John chapter 10, the 10th chapter of John, the 34th verse. And Christ says to the Sadducees, "Is it not written in your scripture that ye are gods?" It says that. Christ said that. You gotta go read your Bible, homie. I be talking, but I got mine right here. Look, I got my highlighter, I got my notes. Every night I come on here, the Bible's right by me. Every night. Before I get on, sometimes I read scriptures. When I get off, sometimes I read scriptures, especially last night, because brothers was quoting some good scriptures. But it is written in the Bible. Swine free since 18. Yo, I haven't ate pork. I listen. I stopped eating pork in 1995 when I was 16, right? And I did it to be cool. So I went from 1995 not eating pork all the way to 2020, 2022. In 2022, I ate pork for the first time. Somebody who hadn't eaten pork in 95, the first time I ate pork was in 2022. And I've been eating it for the last 4 years, man. Off and on. That's crazy, right? I guess when I started snitching, I was like, well, shit, if I'm snitching, I might as well eat some pork now. I don't know. And I told my wife at the time, LOL, you missed it. Nah, I did miss pork. I ain't gonna lie. I never act like I ain't like it. I just stopped eating that shit. I ain't gonna act like I ain't miss bacon. Man, nigga, that turkey bacon, that shit tastes like cardboard. I ate turkey bacon for 22 years. You know that shit don't taste like real bacon. I was missing bacon and I was missing pork chops like a motherfucker, nigga. You can't fake pork chops. Pork, I don't care. You might could eat turkey bacon, but you can't make a pork chop, my nigga. You can't make bacon either. Those are two things that I miss. So when I say I've been eating pork again, that's really what I've been eating. I ate some panini though. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't had panini in mad long. Bro, turkey bacon ain't fire, bro. That shit is straka. It's alright. I ate it for 20 something years. So when I had to eat it, I ate it. You know what I'm saying? But Come on, bro. Whoever a turkey bacon and egg sandwich is trash. Pork chops is gas, bro. You can't even make that shit up. Beef bacon is alright. Beef bacon is alright, but it ain't like pork bacon. Y'all know what I'm saying. Beef bacon is alright. It's alright. It's better than turkey bacon. Beef bacon is better than turkey bacon. But beef bacon don't taste like pork bacon. I don't give a damn what y'all talk about. And you know that beef bacon, that shit kind of hard. Oh, stretch was good, bro. A Muslim, so I want this shit. Pork is gross, but it shit tastes good. Chicken is gross too. All that shit is gross. But yeah, I haven't ate pork since '95, and then I ate pork for the first time in 2022. Right? I think that was 23 years. I can't really know the math. I think or it might have been longer than that. Let me see. Cause yeah, 95 is 95, right? So '05 is 10 years, 15 is 10 years. Yeah, it was like 23 years. 27 years, excuse me. Yeah, I went 27 years without eating pork. I had stopped eating beef. I had stopped eating beef for like 3 years. When I was locked up, I just stopped and then I came home and then I started eating beef again. So I went 3 years without beef, then I started eating it. And then in 2012, when I had my spiritual awakening, I stopped eating meat altogether. But I only did that shit for like 8 months. And then I got locked up. And when I went to Rikers Island, I started eating everything. I went back to eating everything. I tried to eat just turkey and fish and chicken, and then I don't know, one of them burger days came through and I ate a burger and it been off to the races. I ain't even gonna lie. Are you Muslim while you was in prison? Nah, I was Muslim on my first bid when I was a kid. You took John 34 and 10 out of context. Christ accused, hold on, what he said? You took John 10 and 34 out of contact. Christ accused the Sadducees of claiming their leaders and judges are gods. No, because right after that, if you read it, this is the best thing to do. This is the best thing to do. I'm glad you brought that up though. And it said, Jesus answered them, is it not written in your scriptures, I say, you are gods? If it calls them gods to whom the word of God came, and scripture true, be not set aside. You can say that one of whom the Father has consecrated and sent into the world blaspheme because I said, I am the Son of God. So and they moved to stone him. They moved to stone him right after. I don't got to read it because that's what happened. Right after that, they moved to stone him, and he had to get up out of there before they stone him. So what he's saying is, if you call yourselves God, why can't I be the Son of God? He didn't say that they weren't. He said, if you call yourself God, then how could you not say that I'm the Son of God? And some Bibles will say it goes to scripture. It goes to Psalms 82 where it says that God was in the consorts of the gods, and it's God talking to other gods. So I mean, he did say what he's saying is, if it's written in your scriptures that the judges of Israel are considered gods, it said, is it not written in your scriptures that ye are gods? So if they could be gods, then how could I not be God and I'm the one that God sent to y'all? How could I not be the son of God and I'm the one that he sent to y'all? God bless you all in Jesus' name, all are here on earth, in the name of our Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen, amen, and amen. Ain't no way. Bro really tried to say man is God, blasphemy. How is man not God? How is man not God? I'm asking, what is God? because we use words loosely. Y'all use word loosely. God name ain't God. God name ain't God. You think God name is God? You think the all in all name is God? I'm asking. Before the Abrahamic religions, before the Abrahamic belief, people didn't, there was no God, because God is a new word. You believe that's God name is God? If you believe that, then you blasphemy. That's blasphemy, homie. You going into the whole esoteric, can man create the stars and all of that? We are stars. When I created my daughter name is Star. She is a star. Every molecule and atom in our body is from stardust. We have the DNA of stars. So yeah, I created a star. My daughter's actually name is Star. My mother name is Astria. Her name is Star. So my grandmother and my grandfather created a star. My mother, her name is Astria. She's a star. So I named my first daughter Star, Star Asia. I think you I don't believe in it. I mean, everything exists. There's a Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory head ass nigga. Oh, that's what you saying. The universe looks like our brainwaves. As above, so below. What about the aliens? There is aliens. There is. Thank you, Carla. Thank you. Yeah, my mother name is Astria, but I didn't know. You want to know something? I'm gonna show you something how divine the all in all is and the creator is, right? My mother name is Astria, but nobody calls her that. They call her Tutu because she didn't like her name. So everybody call her Tutu. So my mother name was Astria. I never knew that Astria means star. I never knew that. I ended up naming my daughter Star, Star Asia, and we call her Star. I never even knew that. Then as I got older and I started reading some shit, and I was like, Astria, it's a god, Astarte, Astria. And I'm like, that's my mother's name. So I was like, yo, ma, you know your name means star? She was like, yeah. And the reason being is that my mom's and my aunt was born on the same day, 1 year apart. My grandmother went in labor 1 year to the day of her first daughter. So she had my aunt. 9 months later, no, 3 months later, she got pregnant again, had my mother 9 months later on the exact same day. So my mother and my aunt are 1 year apart, born on the exact same day. So when my grandmother was up in Harlem Hospital pushing my mother out, she said before when her attractions was coming, she said she looked out the window in Harlem Hospital. You can't make this shit up. And she said she saw a shooting star. So she said she named my mom's Astria for the star that she saw. Now, I didn't know that when I named my daughter Star. I thought I was a guard body. I thought I was a 5%er. So I named my daughter Star Asia. And then look, now my daughter name is Star and my mother name is Star. So when somebody said, can man make stars? Yeah, man make stars. Every day we make stars when we make children because we are stardust. Yeah, Astria, astrology. Yeah, same shit. Astro. Astro is, I think that's Greek for star. Walk by faith, not by sight, by the kingdom of heaven, raised deep within the heart, and spark the Holy Spirit resonates deep within the soul and seeks our Father and finds your true awakening. Does that make us aliens since we all stardust? Yeah, all of us are not from here. All of us are not from here. Some of us have alien spirits. Everybody who's here is not an original Earth soul. Some of us came from other constellations. Some of us came from other constellations. Everybody's not original Earth souls. Some of us came from other constellations. I love my Christians, but I think people get indoctrinated by the Bible and they don't even understand their own Bible. They don't understand their own Bible. Most people don't. Because if you go by the Bible, that means the human race is only 6,000 years old. If you go by the Bible will tell you that man existed for 6,000 years. If you go into this the Vulgate and the Septuagint, um The Catholic Bible and the papacy, they'll tell you that man is 6,000 years old. So if in order to believe everything in the Bible, you would have to believe that. And that's not fact. That's mathematically non-cipher. That is emphatically impossible for us to be 6,000 years old. It's impossible. So I try not to attack the religious people, because if you're Christian and you live by his tenets, then more power to you, right? Christ is our perfect example. Christ is our Lord and Savior, because Christ came down here to show us that we are older than this flesh, that we are eternal souls. That's what Christ came down here to show us, and that's what the resurrection was about. But people say he died on the cross when he never really died, right? If he was always alive, he never died. He died and he risen in 3 days, then he was never really dead. I think the astrologists and the pagans, which is the papacy, the Catholic Church, they mixed in a lot of paganism beliefs, and our people tend to believe these things. There was no Christ, there was no Christians for Christ. Christ was Christ. And while Christ was here, he was a child of Israel, and his followers were children of Israel. There was no Christians until Antioch. They formed the church. The first church was formed at Antioch after Christ had ascended to the Most High. But Christ never left a sanction for anybody to be called a Christian, a Christos, right? He never left those orders or those ordinances for us to do that. So if we technically are supposed to be the children of Israel, but the Christians, even the African, so-called African American Christians, or the fundamental Black Christians, they're taught to believe that the children of Israel are the people that's over there blowing up Palestine. That's what they're told to believe. When those people over there that's blowing up Palestine, they was never put in ships. They was never spread to all four corners of the earth. And they still view each other as brothers. We still don't view each other as brothers. So we are the lost tribe here in the northern wilderness of America, whether you believe that or not. I try not to get religious though. I try not to get religious. People get too religious. People get too religious without even studying what they're speaking of. Oh, I'm gonna give a Bible study. I'm gonna give a Bible study, and I'm gonna show you how David didn't worship the same God as Moses, and how Moses didn't worship the same God as Solomon, and Solomon didn't worship the same God as none of them. And why Christ was sent by who his father and who his father was, and his father was a different entity than the one who led Moses, because Moses had a staff, and all the prophets before Christ had a staff. And Isaiah, I think 11:11 says, when Christ came, he would not need no rod nor staff. And if you read the book of Hosea, Hosea tells you that you were misled by your what? Your staff, right? Because Psalms 23 says, your rod, your staff, they comfort me. What if I told you that those who walk with a staff are not upon righteousness? They're not upon Yahweh. They're not upon Yahweh. They're upon something else. Yahweh didn't tell anybody to use a rod and a staff. These are different entities. These are different beings. People think that this whole book is written, or this is the word of one creator, and it's not. It's not. Don't start me. I'll let you rock, because you Christian, I'm Christian. It's okay. I don't see nothing wrong with what you believe, but don't attack me when I say what I say, because you haven't studied enough. Y'all ain't studied enough. Y'all need to start with Geno Jennings. Geno Jennings will show you the way. Pastor Geno Jennings know the way. Gun is the modern day staff. LOL. What's up, Kai? Yeah, bro. You be lying. I could lie about a lot of shit, but I ain't gonna lie about this right here. I ain't gonna lie about this. We could lie about kilos and drug dealing and all of that, but I'm not gonna lie about this. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel, y'all. If you haven't subscribed, Christian religion has the most politics in it. Yeah, because politics and religion go hand in hand. They got that from Constantine. Constantine was the first one to merge the two. He was smart. He was losing the war, right? The pagans lost control, and the papacy was controlling the people. So he said, you know what? I'm gonna merge the paganism, and I'm gonna merge the papacy, the Christian church, and he put the two together. And that's what the Council of Nicaea was in 325. Constantine was smart. He was smart. He figured out how to merge the two. And politics and religion has been hand in hand ever since. That's why you go inside the courtroom, you swear on the Bible, right? When we swear in our president, we swear him in the Bible. We swear in our officers, we swear him in any political or important or pertinent statue on this planet Earth. You're gonna take an oath. You're gonna take an oath of office, and you're gonna swear, and you're gonna be sworn in by who? God, God, whoever that God may be. So when I say that man is God, I think y'all confusing it, and y'all want to think that God is the all in all, and it's not. There are many gods. Before the Abrahamic belief system, Muslim, Christian, and Jew, the big three, right? They both go under the rule of Abraham, who was from Ur. Before Abraham was Abraham, he was from Ur, and he was upon pagan belief system. Even he came from a belief system of multiple gods. There was always multiple gods. Before Abraham, everybody believed in multiple gods. And what y'all don't realize is, even in your Bible, there are multiple gods. That's why it says, one God says, man shall not be punished for the sins of his children. But then Joshua put a whole family to death because the father stole. And he said it was justified because the father stole. So didn't it tell us in Leviticus and Numbers that a child should not be punished for the deeds of his father, nor the father for the deeds of his child? But when that man stole, Joshua put his whole family to death. Why? Because the God Joshua was under said it was all right to unalive that whole family. Joshua was also with the Gibeonites. And if you read Leviticus and Numbers, the Gibeonites was listed amongst the people that we were never to do business with, that we would never to be around, that we would never to congregate with. So why was the man who broke the law twice also broke the law a third time by dealing with people that God told you in Leviticus and Numbers to never deal with the Gibeonites? Why was he dealing with the Gibeonites? Because that wasn't the same God that was talking. Is a different God. And I know the Christians, they get mad and people who get mad, but the religious scholars will tell you that it's not the same God. It's many gods in here. It's a bunch of them. Let me see the God of the Philistines do this. Let me see the God of this one. And this is what they're trained to say, that this is the real God, saying that the statue that don't have no power, he's talking about that. No, he talking about a real God. Y'all taught that. Oh, no, he's saying they're God because they believe that that God is a God. Well, how did it say that the Philistines, their God, gave them the land of Philistine? How did it say don't go into such and such because they was given that from their God? If the God is not real, then how the God gave them that then? They're gonna break down a whole bunch of rhetoric and mosey on around it and fix it up to make it sound real pretty, but they're gonna say, no, that's not a real God. So why is God calling it a real God if it's not a real God? Why does God say that it had power to do X, Y, Z if it's just a graven image? Because you had graven images and then you had gods. But don't start me. So when I call man God, don't attack me for saying that ye are God. Don't attack me. Because the same way Christ is God is the same way you God. The kingdom of God of heaven is within. Where's God at? God lives in where? In heaven. Where's his throne? In heaven. So you have the seat of God within you. You have the throne of God in heaven within you. God. I'm not saying there ain't a higher power. I'm talking about the all in all. The all in all is not a God. The all in all don't have hands. Hands. The all in all don't get jealous or angry. It's impossible. It's emphatically, it is anger, it is jealousy, it is love, it's everything. But to experience it, to become jealous, to say, I am a envious God, that means that is a envious God. That's not the all in all. Come on. The all in all is everything. It can't be a jealous God. Then it wouldn't be the all in all, right? If it walked into the Garden of Eden and said, where art thou, woman? Where art thou? He walked in and said, "Hey, look for." How's that the all in all? The all in all already knew they was gonna eat the apple. The all in all already knew where they was at. The all in all already knew they was gonna do everything they was gonna do. The all in all is in them. The all in all is in the apple. The all in all is in the serpent. The all in all never rested on the seventh day. The all in all is the energy that created the heavens and the earth and the firmament and allowed God to rest on the seventh day. Because God had to rest. God had to look at everything he done and therefore he rested on the seventh day. That's God. God. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Don't start me. Y'all starting me. Y'all starting me. Y'all starting me. Don't start me, man. Don't start me. Oh, what am I doing in prison? Nah, that's my son. He killed a couple people, so I had to profit on him. He was killing people. That's where he supposed to be at. Psalms 82, that's right. Psalms 82 confuses people. Beings with authority and power, not the creator. That's right. Yeah, but they're going to tell you that Psalms 82 is the judges. They're going to say that that's the judges, but it's not the judges. It said because they went to God, but went against the all in all, it said, like men, ye shall die also. So obviously they wasn't men because he's saying that they will die too. So obviously, it's a good one to read too. If you read the man, now I want to find it. It's not Psalms where it talks about um I think it's Isaiah. Now I gotta find it where it talks about where it say son was there, it say you was there. It talks about the prince of not yeah, the prince of Persia, and it says you was there in the beginning, you was in the Garden of Eden and all of that, and it punishes this entity. It's talking about a being that's not a human, because how could the king of Persia been around in the Garden of Eden? And it's talking about it's a God talking to another God. Some people, the Christians, say that it's Satan that he's talking to, that Satan was the prince of Persia. And he was saying that he was going to make his kingdom in the water and he was going to rise up a nation against the prince of Persia. He said, because your heart is hardened and you think you are a God, but you were just a mortal. But if this God is talking to a mortal, how is that mortal around in the Garden of Eden? It's I think it's Isaiah. Then now I want to find it. You should get you should get a red letter Bible. Read only what's in red. Yeah, I mean, listen. Let me tell you something about me. When I was in prison, I did 8 years in solitary confinement, right? And what I would do is when they used to bring the book cart around, I had my own property and I always kept a Catholic Bible. The reason why I kept a Catholic Bible because I like the Maccabee books, I like the Sirach, and so I always kept a Catholic study Bible, and I kept a Vulgate, and I kept a Talmud. A Talmud is a Jewish. It's basically like what the Muslims call the Hadiths. So the Talmud is the Jewish version of the Hadiths. So what I would do was I would collect a Gideon's Bible. I would collect the new revised version of the Bible. I would collect King James version. So what I would do is I would be sitting there with about 7 Bibles, and I would even collect a Jehovah's Witness Bible. I would sit there with 7 Bibles, and if I went to Psalms 82, for instance, I would open every single one up to Psalms 82, every single one of them, and I would read every single one of them. And what I would do was I would take notes of which one was the furthest off. The King James version was the furthest off from every single one of them. The King James even changed words, complete sentences, or took sentences out or added sentences. The only other one that added sentences is a Catholic Bible. Because like Bell and the Dragon is not in at the book of Daniel. I think it's the end of the book of Daniel with Bell and the Dragon. It's not in the regular Bibles. But anyway, so when you're telling me to only read a specific Bible, it doesn't matter which Bible. I mean, it does matter. Let me not say that. I'm just telling you, I'm abreast. I've read books with the red Bible, the red words of Jesus. Those are Christ's words. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But it don't matter what book you read if you don't have discernment. And if you have discernment based on Christian ideology, then that's your discernment is from the Christian God who gave you that ideology. So you're only going to see things in a perspectives. I don't want to get into a religious battle with nobody because you're going to believe what you're going to believe. Your discernment is going to come from what you believe. I could show you 1,000 things, but if you believe that wholeheartedly and you feel like your discernment came from your God, then there's no stirring you from that, and it's not for me to do that. I'm not gonna do that. That's not for me to do. But I mean, and I still study every day. But if I sat you down, I could show you things about your Bible that you wouldn't understand. It is. It causes division and it blinds people. It blinds people. People become blinded because most people, most religion when people are religious, you're taught by a teacher, right? If you want to learn, if you're adamant about learning mathematics, then your teacher is going to teach you mathematics. So you're going to view your teacher as a mathematical smarter than you because he's teaching you something that you don't know. Have you ever had to throw hands because of your belief? Nah. I made people want to throw hands with me, but I've never wanted to throw hands behind my belief. So what happens is you want to learn mathematics. So the person who's teaching you mathematics, once you learn everything there is to learn, you're still gonna have a certain esteem for this person. And then remember, he taught you. So whatever he taught you is gonna have you wrapped up in what he taught you. Now, you're gonna have to use, I would advise that you go outside of the mathematics that he taught you. You're still gonna have to learn these books. You're gonna have to learn what it meant in Greek, what it meant in Aramaic, what it meant, uh what it meant in the other terms and other words. 90% of what you got as a Christian came from the Roman Catholic Church, whether you believe it or not. 90% of what you got came from the Roman Catholic Church. And it wasn't until Martin Luther came in 15 something and he wrote down the 10 or 11 things that the Catholic Church made up. And then he became the godfather of the Protestant. And then when he became Protestant, then you got Catholic, Methodist, all them other Jehovah Witnesses, Seventh Day Avenger, all of it and so forth and so on. All of that happened with Martin Luther. Not Martin Luther King, Martin Luther, right? So what I'm trying to explain to you is 90% of what you believe is what you were told. What have you actually studied? And if you're studying, then you're studying with the mind frame of what they already gave you a frame. You stay within the frame you was taught. So you're not really gonna overstand nothing. You're not gonna read the book of Enoch. You're not gonna want to read the book of Enoch because you're taught this is God's word and it's complete. So because you're taught that this is God's words and it's complete, you're never gonna read the book of Enoch. You're never gonna read the book of Enoch. So you're gonna lack so much understanding because you're not even reading the rest of your book, because that's the rest of your book. The book of Jude quotes the book of Enoch. Peter quotes Enoch, and then Jude quotes Peter, which shows, and if you read, this is why I like these books, because they got footnotes. It's plenty of times in this book where it says that is from Enoch. But if you tell a preacher, "Hey, I read the book of Enoch," oh no, brother, God's word is complete. You don't need to read the book of Enoch. When the book of Enoch breaks down the fallen angels, this don't break down the fallen angels. There's only two times where they kind of mention it, and that's Ecclesiastics, chapter, the sixth chapter, 10 verse 10 through 17, where it talks about the principalities. It don't tell you what the principalities is. It don't tell you what thrones is. It just speaks about it. But if you read the book of Enoch, it breaks down the thrones and it breaks down the principalities. Something you won't know because it's not in your book. It's not in your book. Then it goes to Genesis chapter 6 when it talks about the men of renown and the Nephilim and the children of God and all of that. It don't get specific, so you're not gonna know these things because you're only going from the mind frame of the math that your math teacher taught you, and you never went and did algebra. You're still doing 1 plus 1 is 2. You have to go learn algebra. So I don't like to get into religious. I don't like to get in religion. And then you got to remember too that Christ, when he was here, he battled the Sadducees and the Pharisees, who was the what? Who was the keepers of the law of Moses. That's who he went against. So I find myself again going against the people who keep to the word but don't understand because they don't have discernment. They not casting out demons. They not casting out spirits. They just talking, telling you what they read. And as much as I could tell you that, I've done some horrible things, I could tell you that I cast out demons. I could tell you that. I could tell you that I moved spirits. I could tell you that I was vibrating so high that the voodoo practitioners in my building when I was living uptown in the Bronx told me that I had to leave their building because they couldn't practice what they was practicing while I was praying. My prayers was chasing away the spirits that was giving them foresight. Just like when Paul and them walked through, was it Antioch? And the woman kept following them, the religious teachers, and he turned around and he said, told her to get away, and the spirit left her. And then they tried to hang them because the girl couldn't prophesize no more. And the people who was worshiping Hecate, they couldn't get money off of the girl no more because Peter made the spirit leave her, and that spirit left her, and she couldn't prophesize no more. What if I told you I was praying and vibrating so high that the voodoo priest was telling me they didn't want me in their building no more because they couldn't do what they was doing? I've been in prisons where there was tarot card readers and people who was telling fortunes, and they wouldn't want to be around me because when I was praying and vibrating high, the spirit that was giving them information couldn't come around. Access was denied. So what I look like arguing back and forth religious rhetoric with somebody who just reads a book. Because that's what most people do. They just read the book. I'm not saying they don't try to be good. They do try to be good. You know what I mean? They do. But they read the book and they try to be good, but that's where it stops. He will say, I knew you not. I can't, you be a fool to say what the creator would say. You be a fool to say what I would say to myself. You be a fool to say that. You be a fool to say that. That is why he have the name God. He don't have the name God. Oh, that's why we have the name God. Oh, or creator. Revelations, John is basically saying Jesus is black. Oh, John 1 and 14. Yeah, when he said, in the midst of the flames, I seen four lampstands and I seen the feet of brawn burnt in the furnace and the head of wool, white like wool. But you also missed too that he was talking about the seven chakras when he say the lampstand and seven lights within the lampstand. See, people don't know the the seven lamp thing, that the seven lamps, and it even says it in the book of Zechariah when it said two angels unclothed them, and within the clothing was a lampstand. And when you read John 1, when you read Revelations 1:14 through 15, when it says in the midst of the fire was seven lampstands, it's actually talking about your chakras. It speaks of the seven chakra systems in the Bible too. But if you speak about chakras, most Christians are going to tell you that it's blasphemy when the book, when it talks about the seven lampstands and the lights, and even in Revelation when it said Christ has seven lampstands. What people don't realize is that is actually a chakra. When I say that I have crystals, most Christians will be like, "Oh, that's blasphemous to have crystals." But if you look in Numbers, they had what? 12 stones. What were the 12 stones? The 12 stones represented the 12 what? Tribes of Israel, which there's 12 stones of what? Of 12 stones of the zodiac. People don't realize the astrological comparison with the Bible and astrology. People don't understand that. When you read the book of Job, that's astrology. When the three wise men, the magi, what is a magi? A magi is a magician. So the three magicians, the three magi who were sent by Herod to find who? Christ. They found him because of his what? His star. That is what? Astrology. But keep reading. Keep reading what the papacy gave you, because the papacy warped your mind and your papacy took all your tools away from you. Your papacy told you to pray. That's it. That's all you could do is pray. Oh shit, I done fucked up, y'all. I hope it don't turn off on me. All right, there you go. Jesus is a Pisces. Yeah, there's some fact to that. I'm a Pisces. Jesus is a Pisces because we was in the age of Pisces. Just like they say, Moses was was a ram or a bull because he was in the age of the bull. That's why Christ said, "When you look for me, look for the man that's carrying a pit of water, a pail of water. After I'm gone, look for the male to come behind me. Look for a male carrying a pit of water." And it's a known fact that men didn't carry water in those days. The woman carried water. So what he was saying was, after he's gone, which is the age of Pisces, is going to become who? The man who carries the water. Who's the man who carries the water? Aquarius. It's a new age. We're in a new age. You need to start reading more. It's never too late. I was forced, man. If I was in the streets, I would have never read the shit that I read. I was stuck in prison, man, with nothing but books. That's all I did. Jesus was born on the last day of winter's first day of spring equinox, March 20th. Guess what? I was born on March 15th. You know what March 15th is? The Festival of Weeks. So I was born on the Festival of Weeks, and guess what block I was born on? Weeks. I was born on Weeks Avenue, a Jewish block, on March 15th, the which is the Festival of Weeks. It's right before the Passover. So I be thinking I'm something special. I sound like Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones was a smart man. Those is actually good movies. I need to watch them series over again now that I don't acquired some certain wisdoms, I guess. What do you know about Cancer zodiac sign? I know I love me some Cancer women. I know that, and some of my best friends with Cancers. We're both water signs. I'm a Pisces. Cancer is a water sign. You want to go back to prison, don't you? That I We sitting here talking about God and you talking about me wanting to go back to prison. Oh, you talking about because of that? Ask me why I got that up. That's behind me. Do I know people from Topping? Of course I know people from Topping. Yeah, I know people from Topping. November 1st, 1983, the day of the dead. I'm not gonna block you because maybe you didn't mean that. I'm glad you chose to learn, brother. It's not about choosing to learn, it's about choosing to change. It's about choosing to change. It ain't about choosing to learn. You can learn anything. You could learn witchcraft. You could learn to be a sadist. You could learn to be an assassin. You could learn to be anything. You could learn to be the president of the United States and have orange skin. It's not about learning, but I appreciate it though. Learning is the beginning of change, and the more you learn, the more less ignorant you'll be. That's why I'm not with the racism thing either, because I understand, I overstand, or I understand that you have nigger devils and you have white devils. You have white people who are closer to the creator than black people. It ain't a race, it ain't a race thing. Although there is difference in our whatever, family lineage we chose to reincarnate into, right? There is a difference. There is a difference. We are all not the same, but all black people ain't the same. All me and my brothers, we came from the same mother and same mother. We ain't the same, right? How you think you got Noah? Noah and his wife had three sons, right? Think about this for a second, y'all. This one I want to show. I want to teach y'all something spiritual that most Christians, Jewish, and Muslims won't be able to teach you because they're not taught this in their religious doctrines, right? How is it, right? If you believe in the Noah story, and all three of them believe in the Noah story. So if you believe in the Noah story, right? If Noah and his wife and his three children got into the ark, with I think two of the brothers had wives. I think the youngest one was was Japhetha, whatever his name is, right? I can't remember. I don't want to say nothing wrong. But this is what I'm saying. If Noah and all three of his children got into the ark and the two wives, right? Five people and all the animals. If those men had relations with those women, right? Then answer me this. How did all three of his children have three totally different nations and they had the same mother and the same father? Riddle me that, religious scholars in the chat. If all three of them came from the same mother and same father, then how is it? I can't remember the names, but I know one of them was Sethians, because that's what it's. I mean, was it Seth? Now I gotta look now. But if that is the case, then how did all three of them who came from the same mother and the same father become fathers of many different nations? If they came from the same mother and same father, that's like we got the same mother and the same father, but you're a Jamaican, I'm a Haitian, and he's a Puerto Rican. How are we three different nations if we got the same mother and the same father? Riddle me that. And then we could go to Rebecca. When Rebecca had Jacob and Ishmael, right? How did Jacob and Ishmael be one be the father of the Edomites, which is Edom, Esau. Esau became the father of the Edomites, and Israel became Jacob. Jacob became Israel, the father of the Israel nation. So how did these two people who have the same mother and the same father end up having different kingdoms, different races of people? How? And that's not the only time when it happened. It also happened with Joseph when he was in Egypt, and he had the two sons. One of them started with an M. Mena, damn, Menelek. No, Menelek is not his son. It starts with an M. But he had two sons, and both of those sons had two different nations, and they both had the same mother and the same father. You want to know how? Tell me, ask me if you want to know if you want to know how. How could three men born to the same mother and the same father be different people? Because if you got the same mother and the same father, since we've been on earth and every people we know, if you got the same mother and the same father, if y'all all Jamaican, y'all all Jamaican. Two Jamaicans can't have a Haitian. How did that happen? Generations from Adam to Noah. Okay. No, Seth is the one that came after what's the name? I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I'm about to find Noah's three sons. And God remembered Noah and all the animals, the covenant with Noah. Okay. Oh, Noah and his sons, the sons of Noah who came out the ark was Shem. I said Seth. I knew it was Shem. Shem. And Shem is who the Jewish people come from. They're Shemites. They're from Shem. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Japheth. Japheth is the youngest one. I think he the one that didn't have a wife. And Ham was the one who was cursed because Ham is the one who uncovered the father's nakedness. And Ham ended up becoming the father of Cush and the Canaanites. Yeah, right. So I'm gonna tell y'all how. I'm gonna tell y'all how. Oh, let me see if somebody said it in the chat because I'm far up. You how you know the Bible but not a Christian. Hence, where Noah comes into picture respectfully. Hold on. I'm gonna answer that for you. Third batch God considered a perfect, which was golden brown. Go to Chronicles for what? People say shit just because they have mouths. Or kind of, fuck. What kind of cap is that? Your children don't know who you are. Melchizedek. Melchizedek is no Melchizedek. All right. I'm gonna tell you how they all could come from the same mother and the same father. I'm gonna tell you how. But to answer your question, Beasley, when you know the Bible, you couldn't be a Christian if you really knew the Bible. If you knew the Bible, you couldn't be a Christian. If you really, really knew the Bible, you couldn't be a Christian. Because you couldn't be a Christian because you knew Christ wasn't a Christian. Christ was from the tribe of Israel, and he told his disciples, only go to the children of Israel. Now, most Christians are going to say once he was crucified on the cross, he died for the sins of the Gentiles. And most African American or fundamental Black Christians believe that they are Gentiles and they are made Christian through Christ's sacrifice. And they believe that the Jews are the children of Israel. The Jews, the small hats, the ones that we bomb in Israel for, the ones that run this planet, the ones that Christ said will always be the lenders and will always be the borrowers. They are the lenders. They are the ones with the finance and the banking system to this day. They are the ones who implemented these tolls. They the ones who implemented these taxes to this day. This is why Christ said, render to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and render to God what belongs to God, because Christ knew and understood that those fake Israelites would still be in power to this day, and we would still be the borrower, and they would still be the ones who set all the rules, controlled all the money, and took care of all the banking, as they were even in his time. So, in order to, when you study this Bible, you won't be a Christian because you'll realize that Christ wasn't Christian. Christian is a belief system. To be a child of Israel is in your soul DNA. These tribes are in your soul. You can't read something and become a Jamaican. You can't read something and become a Haitian. You can't read something and become, it's a nationality. To be a child of Israel is a birthright. It's a nationality, right? So, and that's what I wanted to get to. I'm glad you asked that question, because what I'm about to say is this. The reason how they could come from the same mother, father, and be different people is because of the soul group. Your mother, every time she has birth and that soul goes inside of her womb and forms into a baby, that soul can be an Israelite, or that soul can be a Muslim, for lack of a better term. That soul could be a Catholic. That soul, these souls are from different monads. They're from different soul groups. The mother is just pushing it out. So that's why Noah's wife had three sons, and that was the fathers of three different child. It says it right here. It says it. It said, Noah and his sons, the sons of Noah who came out of the ark, were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of the Canaanites. Those were the three sons of Noah, and from them the whole world was populated. So it's going to say that each one of his sons founded this nation. This son founded the Canaanites, the Cushites, the Palestinians. This one founded the this, the that. How did three men from the same mother and father be a different people? A Canaanite is a different from a Cushite. The Philistines is a different from the I was trying to look for a different name, but you get what I'm saying, right? These are different nations. It says it. So if they came from the same mother and the same father, who all came from um Seth. I don't even gotta look. They came from Seth, because after Cain slew Abel, right? Then they had Seth, which is Set in Egypt. Set is Seth. It's the same one. He was the replacement for the one who was slain, which was Abel. So Seth was the son, the replacement. He was the third son. There's a lot of threes in the Bible, but we'll get into that later. So the third son was Seth. Seth is the father of Noah. Seth comes from Noah, right? Because Seth had uh I forgot. I used to could count all the way up to the 10. Noah was the 10th. Noah was the 10th from Adam. I used to could count it because it's Noah, right? Noah's father was Lamech, and then Methuselah, and then Enoch, and then Jared, and then damn, I used to could do it. I swear I used to could do it. I used to could do it. It's been a while. But Noah is the 10th from Adam. Noah is the 10th from Adam. From Adam, and then Seth, and then Seth had, I forgot. I think he had Enosh, and then you know what I mean, and so on and so forth. And then Noah was the 10th person. He was the 10th from Adam's lineage. And then he had three sons. right? Shem ends up being the one who Abraham came from. And Abraham gave birth to Isaac, and then Isaac gave birth to Jacob, who became Israel, and then Israel gave birth to the whole Israelite tribe, and that's the line who Jesus came from. So you could supposedly chase Jesus all the way back to Adam through Seth, Shem, Abraham, right? And Isaac, and then go on and go on and go on and go on and go on, right? But the point that I'm making is the reason how three people could come from the same two parents and be different nations is because what the Bible don't teach is that the reason why they were different nations because they had a different spirit. Even though they had the same mother and father, they came from a different spirit. You ever have a cousin? Because I got a cousin who the whole family's ratchet, but you got this one cousin who talks like a white person. They talk proper, so to speak. They're nothing like the rest of them. They're because that soul may have came in. Let's say your last name is Jackson. That person might have been born into the Jackson's family, right? But the father last name might have been Peterson, and the Petersons might have been prestigious. So this child never was around the Petersons, but it acts like the Petersons. It don't act like the Jacksons. The Jacksons, they curse, they drink, they on welfare, they eat. But this kid was polite, never cursed, went to college, graduated, and became a nurse and went to church. And then later down the road, she meets her father, which is the Peterson, and she acts just like the Petersons. Why? Because that soul was not of the Jacksons. That soul came from somewhere else. Even though the mother pushed her out, she came out of her mother. She's not under their generational curses because that soul came from a different monad. And this is what they don't teach in the Bible. They don't teach it, but they say it, but you have to be able to catch it because it says in Hebrews where it says, before Esau and Jacob did one sin, committed anything before they was even born, God hated Esau and loved Jacob. Do you understand that? God hated Esau and loved Jacob before they was even born. How? How? How did that God, hate two babies born by the same mother, same father, and before they was even born, how did God hate one and love the other and they ain't even born yet? Because Jacob came from the lineage of Shem, Seth, Josephat, and Jesus was to come from Jacob. That's where Jesus was coming from. I mean, not Jacob, sorry, Judah, who ended up being Israel. I apologize. Who ended up being Israel. He came from them. Jacob, who came Israel, he came from them. That's the lineage. That's why God loved him before he did anything because his soul was coming from a group of people that God already in love with, already knew who he was going to be and where he come from. His brother came from somewhere else. And the angel told Rebecca, she said, why is these babies fighting in my womb? And the angel of the Lord said to her, you have two nations in your womb. Y'all know the story of Rebecca. How could somebody who have twins be two nations? When this nigga fucked her, gave her two babies, which is twins, they should be the same people, right? Nah, they wasn't the same people. They didn't look the same. They didn't act the same. Because even though she had twins, one baby came from the Edomites, which is the Canaanites, and one baby came from the child of Israel, which is a monad, a soul group. This shit is spiritual, y'all. Stop thinking with your baby eye and thinking everything is so cut and dry and reading this book without true understanding. Don't read it. Y'all reading because y'all indoctrinated without doing your own study and your own research. You just have to research. You have to study. You have to read the Vulgate. You have to read the Septuagint. You have to read the Catholic Bible. You have to read all of them. And then get you a concordance. A concordance could be this thick. But you go read and you read the words. What does this word means? And then you get to understand, you get to overstand, because you start thinking that an angel is something special when an angel is just a messenger. An angel could be anything. You think an angel is just got wings on it, is white, and is wearing all white with wings, and you be like, oh yeah, angel, because the book said angel. Don't be misled. An angel could be a demon, and a demon could be an angel. Don't be misled. Don't let somebody tell you something and then indoctrinate you, and then you read it so much, and then you just close your mind up, and then somebody show you something, and you don't even know what you're reading. I ask preachers about the book of Enoch all the time, and they be like, "Oh, brother, it's not. If it's not in the Word of God, that's not the Word of God. That's Scripture. There's a difference. This is not the Word of God. It's not Scripture. It's not the Word of God. God don't have words. God is a vibration. The all in all, excuse me, gods do have words. Let me rephrase that. The all in all don't have words. The all in all is a vibration. The all in all is everything that creates the word, that creates the spell, that creates the vibration, that creates the molecules. It is the molecules. It creates it and it is it. It's us interacting as us in itself. That's why I say we are God, because the kingdom of heaven is within, right? Christ said, "No man shall find the kingdom of God but through me." Not saying to praise him, meaning my ways, my acts, my lineage, my soul group. That's why he said, only go to the children of Israel. He told them that. He said it 3 times. In his Bible, there's a lot of threes. Threes is the number of spirit. Three is the action. Three is action, spirit. That's why it's always threes. He told them 3 times, only go to the children of Israel. He was sacrificed at what? 3 o'clock. He was sacrificed with who? 2 other people, which made him the third one, right? Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Three is the spirit. Three is the action. It's the action. It's the action. It's 1 plus 1 equals 2. Two things make the third. Positive and negative, right? That's why you see the black and white floors in the Masonic temples, because that's duality. We're the third. We're the third. We're the third. We're the spirit in between good and bad, light and dark, black and white. We're the third. We're the manifestation of these two positive and negative forces. That's the third. It's this all this thing is spiritual. Stop thinking with your conscious mind and use your spirit. They're not gonna teach you because they don't want you to have discernment. They want you to believe everybody the same, or believe, your family may not be you. You could be born in a family, you don't even belong to them people. I know it all the time. My father's family, I love them to death, but I'm not like them people. I'm nothing like them. I got my mother's spirit. I got my mother's, that's my soul group. My father, that's his people, they my people, but I'm not like them. I'm my mother's spirit. This is who I am. I'm them. That's my soul group. That's my soul group. I know that. I got a daughter that never met them, and she's raised by her mother's family, but she's us. My other daughter, she's like them. It's no good or no bad. I'm just saying. My oldest daughter, she's like her mother and her family. That's her soul group. My other daughter that don't know my mother's family, she's us. She's them. She's them. She might even be the reincarnation of my grandmother. She was born 7 years later. She might be my grandmother. My hardest problem. I was my grandmother's hardest problem. My second daughter is my hardest problem. That might be my grandmother. And guess what, y'all? When she was 4 years old, I got out of prison and we went to a Chinese buffet, right? She was 4 years old. And she was 4, my other daughter was 14. And me, her, and the mother, we all go to a Chinese buffet, right? So when we get to the buffet, my baby mom's is like, "Yeah, take your daughter. This is gonna bug you out. Here, take her. Watch this." So I take her over, it's a buffet. So she grabbed her little plate and we go to the buffet. You know what this little girl wanted? She wanted mussels. She wanted mussels and oysters. Now, I don't know if y'all know what moist mussels and oysters are. I mean, those who know, this woman wanted the John Cuff show was fire. Thank you. You should get Kyle Reality to help you with the next one. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I've been learning on my own. I did all the editing myself. I didn't want to put the fire at the top, but if I'd have took it out, I'd have had to do too much to fix it. So let me finish. So this little girl, we at the Chinese food buffet, right? She 4 years old. Now most 4-year-old they gonna want sweet and sour chicken, General Toast chicken. They gonna want all the sweet shit, right? This girl wanted mussels and oysters, shellfish that don't have no. Y'all know how I don't know if y'all know how mussels and oysters taste, but it's an acquired taste. I like mussels and oysters. You know why I like mussels and oysters? Because my grandmother liked mussels and oysters, and that's what she fed us, mussels and oysters. She loved mussels and oysters. I love mussels and oysters. This 4-year-old girl, out of all the things she could have ate at the Chinese buffet, she wanted mussels and oysters. My grandmother had been gone for 7 years when my daughter was born. I believe in my heart that she's my grandmother, and we gave her my grandmother middle name. The same way I gave my oldest daughter my mother's first name without even knowing my mother's name was Star. I named my daughter Star, not even knowing that Astra meant star. You can't make this shit up, y'all. You can't wake this shit up. The book Enoch itself is you to take religious undertones from it and prove that we are descendants from ancient aliens. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a fact. The book of Enoch is a profound book. And I would move for any Christian, Muslim, or Jew to read that book. That book is profound. It's a profound book. It'll show you about reincarnation. It'll show you about the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim. It'll show you about it's a lot, man. That book is a powerful book. Enoch looked down on earth and saw that earth was round. Or he might have saw. See, now with this whole flat earth thing, I don't really go back and forth with it because earth could be flat, but its vibration could give off an aura that makes it look round. It might be flat, and we might be floating on a flat disc underwater or in the air because water is air. If you really think about it, if you get dropped out of a plane at 30,000 feet in the air, the way you moving is the same way as if water, other than the fact that you're falling, but you're moving it like you would move in water. They say out of space, you move like you're in water. I mean, that's believable. So outer space could be underwater. So I don't know. We get into the whole if we sitting in a globe with a firmament over it at the bottom of a sea, we could be. If we floating around on a flat disc with a orb over it, we could be. It's still round though. It's still round. Atoms are round. Everything is round. Your aura is round. So Earth has an aura. It has an oversoul. It has an auric field. It's gonna be round. So even if Earth is flat, it's gonna have a round auric field, and it might look like it's round from a spaceship or whatever. But anyway, Enoch looked down and saw that the Earth was round. Enoch looked down and saw that the Earth was round. When Enoch was sitting on his mountain, right? As above, so below. We all chose to be here in this realm of reality, all of us. I don't believe in that biblical story. I don't believe in that. That has happened, but it didn't happen here, if that makes any sense. And if it did happen here, it didn't happen for all of us. Some humans were created on this planet Earth, some of them. Some humans were created here. Some humans were created here. Some humans been here. Some humans been here, some humans were created here. Some of us were, some of us weren't. Some of us came here. You know what I mean? Everything, I'm one of those. If you ask me, I'm one of those, everything exists. Everything. Anything you could imagine exists. I don't refute nothing. I'm not going to argue about nothing. The only thing I will argue somebody about if they tell me exactly, yeah, when you die, you're going to heaven or hell. It's Allah, Buddha, or Jehovah, and this is the this and this is and that and this is and that. I only argue that. I'm just gonna tell you to broaden your horizons, man. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not even gonna argue with you because a Christian was born to be a Christian. A Muslim was born to be a Muslim. Whatever they are, as long as they believe in the tenets wholeheartedly, then they were created to be that. That's the spirit that they came from. Christianity is a spirit. They have an oversoul. They have a God. And that God, that He God, is their God. And that's what they were created to be. I am not here to dissuade them from being that. But don't attack me and tell me I'm wrong. I just have more overstanding than you. I have an old soul. I've been here 1,000 times. I'm tired of being here. I'm tired of being here. A lot of Muslim Christians and Jews are new souls. Only a new soul could believe that there's an envious God who created the world and man with his hands, and he rested on the seventh day. Only a new soul would believe that. That's a new soul. That's new soul shit. Only they would believe that. It's okay to believe it too. It's nothing wrong with believing that. That's the difference between an old soul and a new soul. An old soul is not trying to project anything upon you because it overstands or understands that that's where you are at. I can leave you there. Just if you attacking me and telling me, don't attack me. Allow me to be a blasphemer if I'm a blasphemer, I'm never gonna say that your religion is wrong. That's who you are here to be. That's in your soul. If you live in your tenets the way that you believe they're supposed to be, then you will make it to that heaven paved with gold and paved with the land of milk and honey. That's where you're gonna go, if that's what you believe. But if you believe that, but you don't live it wholeheartedly, which is the true belief of it, then you go into that same hell you believe in too. That's where you're going. Oh man, appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Let me see. I ain't been reading. I hate to ignore the comments, but I've been going off right now. I think under I think under a humanity new constitution as a worldwide constitution, it should be you can have your beliefs as long as you're not hurting anyone. That's a fact. That's universal law. That's a universal law, man. Believe whatever you want to believe, just as long as it doesn't harm anybody. And it's okay to be it's okay to coexist, because I'm not going to attack your belief. I can sit amongst Muslims, Christians, and Jews. I'm not going to attack what they believe, because I understand why they believe what they believe. You know what I mean? This might be their second or third or their first go round. So that's for people who on their first, second, and third go round. Us who've been here 1,000 times already and tired of being here, you already know. That's first grade. Who goes to the first grade and argue with first graders? Who leaves from a college dorm, or what college professor goes down to the first grade or to kindergarten and go down on a little romper room mat and argue about the blocks? We're not gonna argue about the blocks. Just keep on building. Keep on building. You have to look at him and say, "Oh, look at the little baby. Okay, okay, little baby. Do what you have to do down there." You know what I'm saying? It ain't up to no debate. It ain't for me to debate with them. We have to have Muslims and Christians and Jews. If we didn't, we wouldn't have no war. We gotta have the equal balance. It gotta be a war. They wouldn't be we wouldn't be bombing Palestine right now if it wasn't for religion. It has to be that. It has to be. It has to be. It has to be. You know what I'm saying? I read in a book where it said that the Caucasian race was brought here because they had to give us the will to want to leave planet Earth, or the will to explore. Without them, we wouldn't have wanted to physically explore our planet. And I believe that. I believe that. Even on, the Egyptians were in ships and they did go quite a few places and stuff like that, if you believe those stories. But they had to give us the curiosity. We lacked a certain form of curiosity and aggression on this planet. So they had to bring we had to have some balance. They had to come here. They had to be created. They had to be created. The almighty creator, the all in all. I don't know what you just said, Esper Lord. Esper Lord. I don't know what you said. I can't read that. I don't know what language that is, brother. My only fear is death, is coming back by reincarnated Tupac. I think Pac have been here a few times, man. Pac is an old soul. A lot of Geminis are old souls. Geminis are old souls. Gemini's been here a long time. But Geminis are put here to keep us on Earth, though. I think they're the soul traps. I think Gemini's wisdom is to keep us earthly. I also believe that too. The signs of the zodiac, what time you come into this planet, is what tribe you come from. That's why it's 12 tribes of Judah. That's why it's 12 disciples. You know what I'm saying? I think those are soul groups. Those are different soul groups. All 12 is a different soul group. This Bible is very astrological. It's an astrological um book. It is. They don't give it credit for that though. They just want you to believe that it's just religious, but this book is very astrological. That's a fact. Even down to Christ's birth, it was an astrological find. They found him, they tracked him by his star. He was said to come on a certain time and a certain date when the planets align. And that's how they found them. They came, they paid him homage, and then they went another way. They were magi, they were magicians. That's what a magi is. If you take the magi, it's Magi. If you add a C or a K to magi, what is it? Magic, right? Magic. And magi, magic. These magicians came to see him because they saw his star, which is his oversoul. You know what I mean? They knew that he was coming because it was astrological. It was an astrological alignment in the sky that night. So they knew that he was coming and they went to go see him and pay him homage. But who were they around? They were around Herod. Why you think all kings in those days had what? All kings had a seer, every last one of them. Daniel became famous and popular because he was what? He was a seer for the king. And the king changed his name from David to Belshazzar or something Chazar. The king was something Chazar and he named him Belteshazzar, right? Right? Moses, what happened with Moses? Moses fought against the Pharaoh who was the king, right? He fought against Pharaoh's who? Magicians, right? And he was a better magician. His magic or his god was more powerful than the gods of Egypt, right? Same thing happened with Joseph. Joseph became what? The king's seer. He married the Pharaoh's chief magician's daughter and had children with her. And one of those children, I forgot the child's name. I'm not so quick with it, but one of those children was from Israel. That one of those child is where Jesus came from and the lineage came from. The other child was born of the mother from Egypt, and that child was like more Egyptian than an Israelite. These are soul groups, y'all. And this is what the higher ups know and understand. This is why the kings and queens in Europe, they name their children Charles II or Elizabeth IV and all of these names and all of they keep naming them Elizabeth. It's because the powerful elite and they marry off their cousins to their cousins to their cousins because if two cousins and they both last name is Jackson. So if you marry two Jacksons and them two Jacksons have a baby and then that baby marries another Jackson, it's highly probable that King Henry Jackson the 13th, he's gonna come back through that lineage. They're trying to bring back that soul back into that soul group because they know that soul is coming back. They know that soul is not gonna go to what we call a proverbial heaven. They know that soul is not going to ascend back to the all in all because they're kings and queens. And kings and queens rule what? This realm, this era, this planet. So they're going to constantly recycle, but they know that they're going to be recycled. So they're waiting for Elizabeth to come back. They're waiting for her to come back. Prince Charles and Prince Harry right now, when they having them little girls, they waiting for Diana to come back because Diana was sacrificed. So they know Diana's soul is gonna come back. One of them little girls is gonna be named Diana. They probably already is. One of them probably already named Diana. I'm sure of it. You know they love their moms. One of them is gonna be Diana because the princes and duchess of York, when they keep these Charleses and Elizabeths, they keep using these. It's because they know that that soul's coming back to that family. They know that. We don't know that. We don't know. We don't know nothing about generational curses. So we don't know why we're born alcoholics or born pedophiliacs or born crackheads and dope fiends and born poor and in the despair, poor and poverty. I know people who are embrace poverty. They can't see themselves living a good life. They can't see themselves. They be like, oh, Bucks, why you want those glasses? Oh no, I would never. I only wear glasses that somebody hand me. Oh, why would you want that car? Or you don't want a better car? You don't want a big house? You don't want, they don't want nothing. They want to be poor. They think they want it, but they don't want to live better. They want to be poor. There's people who actually enjoy being poor. It's a spell, it's a curse, it's a generational curse. They're born into a family of despair, being poor, being broke, being impoverished. Some people are born into that, and that's who they are. It's in their soul group. That's who they are. And if you're around them long enough, you're gonna be just like them. You're gonna be just like them. So I appreciate y'all. It's 60 people in here. I really ain't want to spin off, but I don't want to be in here to 5 in the morning either. I'm gonna try to answer some of these comments because I haven't been talking. But I guess one, if you got heart and your soul is on fire and all those tears, like tonight alone work your heart. Some people stay behind because they got something else in mind. Hello, oh, that's bars. How you was rapping on your craft. You can believe and make it through anything life puts you in. That's a fact. That is a fact. Why are you in jail? That's not me in jail. That's behind me. But I want to tell y'all something, man. I'm gonna tell y'all something before I go, cause I'm already in the spirit. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell y'all some real shit. We are way more powerful than they tell us we are, man. We powerful, man. We could stop bullets. We can move spirits. We can heal ourselves. Man, let me tell y'all something. I've been told I had I was type about to I was about to be type 2 diabetic, right? And I done had them people tell me when I was locked up that yeah, your blood test came back and you diabetic, this, that, and the other, right? I was like, well, I want a second opinion. And they'll put me in for the second opinion. And I go back in there in 2 weeks, and the doctor be like, man, I don't know what they saw, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. And I went back to, stressing and not meditating and not fasting and not making spirit water or holy water, not speaking to the water, not programming my body, not doing my meditations. And I done slipped back into type 2 diabetic. I done literally, and this, I'm not making this up, y'all, over 3 times in my life. One time with my daughter, the doctor who was my wife's prenatal doctor, and 2 times in jail with 2 different doctors, 2 different jail doctors, and one time my daughter's prenatal doctor. But 3 times in my life, I've sat with a doctor and told the doctor that I've healed myself. And 2 times my doctors had proof that I did it. But my wife's prenatal doctor, she only had proof because my wife was had a colostomy bag when she had my daughter. And we took stones out of her kidney and we healed her. We healed her kidney. We gave her back a percentage of her kidney and took the crystals. There was a crystallization around where they connected the colostomy bag, right? I don't know if they connected to your kidney or your liver. I think it's your kidney, right? I forgot. But wherever the piss tube that people connect, it had calcified and it was like crystallization or calcium around the inside. We took that off and gave her back the percentage of her kidney that was not working. And her doctor name was Dr. Rafiki. I never remember I never forget this lady name. And in New York, they got a lot of doctors are Hindus. And this Hindu lady told my wife at the time, I want to meet him. I want to meet your husband. I want to meet him. I want to meet him. So I go to this doctor's office. This lady had dream catchers. She had a motherboard or a matrix of crystal, them big purple crystal matrix. She had dream catchers. She had all this esoteric shit. And I read a lot. So I already knew this lady was spiritual. And then when I seen her, she was a Indian, a Hindu. Now, anybody in New York could tell you, like, the Hindus, they kind of run the medical system in New York. Like, if you go to a doctor, it's a 60% chance it's going to be one of them, right? So when I go in there and she was like, well, how did your wife, how did her kidney, how did all of that change? And I told her, I said, yo, I put healing intentions into it and I've been giving her healing water. What do you mean? I programmed the water. I told the water, you know, um, restore this water back to its natural consciousness, its life-giving consciousness and purification consciousness, its holy water, baptism, baptizing, Christian conscious healing. And I spoke love and light into the water. And this is what I gave her as medicine, right? And I told this lady that, and she said, you know what? You're right. This 3 times this happened to me. It happened with this Dr. Rafiki lady, and it happened to me 2 times in jail. And 3 times I've had a doctor tell me out their mouth. She looked around, she said, you're right. I'm a doctor, so I get paid to give people medicine. but I believe what you believe. I'm Hindu. I believe what you believe. I just do this for as a practice. But you can your body, you could tell your body to do anything you wanted to do. You did heal her. I just wanted to see and just see how you did it. But now you're telling me, and I know exactly how you did it. And that's why I wanted to meet you. Real shit. You can heal yourself. You can heal yourself of any ailment, anything you go through. When I feel myself about to catch a stroke, because I be 300 pounds, I tell my body we not having a stroke. When I fractured my knee and I told my body my knee wasn't fractured and I unfractured my knee. And that's what I want to give y'all. That's what I want to give y'all. No real shit. You take your water, you get you some. See, I even knew. I knew I had a it won't let me show the glass because of the background. But you see this glass? I only drink out of glass. I only drink out of glass. Man, you get you some water. I don't know if you deal with crystals, but get you a clear quartz crystal, put that crystal in that water, and you talk to that water. You tell that water, you restore that. I want to take all negative energies and entities out of this water and restore this water back to its natural consciousness, its life giving consciousness, its baptism consciousness, its purification, love, light, healing consciousness. And when you talk that water, you put the cup to your lips and you say, I love you and I appreciate you. And you drink that water. And when you drink that water, as you drinking it, you have to close your eyes. You see now, imagination, right, is your power. This what y'all don't know. Anything you can imagine, whatever you think about is. You can think whatever you want to think and create it to happen outside your body. So imagine inside your body, right? If you could think something and it happened in real life, if you could think about a song and it come on the radio, if you could think about your first high school sweetheart and you get on the train and bump right into it, that's happened to me too. If you could do stuff like that, imagine what you could do with your own vessel. So you program that water because the water is conscious. The water is actually alive. They're not going to tell y'all that. Water is actually alive. Water is alive and water is consciousness. So you take that water and you tell that water, I got what I say to it, but you say to it, I take all the negative entities and energies out of this water and restore it back to its natural consciousness, its life-giving consciousness, its baptism consciousness, its love, light, healing, and purification consciousness. And you say to that water, I love you and I appreciate you. You program it. And when you drink that water, whatever's wrong with you, whatever's wrong, if you have heart problems, blood pressure, your arteries, if you got a kidney, you got cancer, you got a tumor, whatever it is, as you drink that water, you have to visualize that water. It's what I do. I'm telling y'all. You visualize that water as lightning blue and you visualize that water going through everything as it goes through your body because you feel it and you start watching it go over your whole body. Even though you drinking it and it's going down your throat, you see it go in your head, your eyes, your veins, your heart, your kidney, your liver. You see that light like lightning. You see that lightning going through your entire body. And wherever you have the problem at, if it's in your veins, if it's in your heart, if it's in your brain, if it's a cancer in your ovaries, wherever that cancer is, you see that water and you attack that thing. You make the water attack it and you send shock waves to it. I'm telling I love y'all, so I'm gonna give y'all some real shit. I'm giving y'all real shit. And you send shock waves through it. And you know how you send shock waves through it? You know how to give your body the chills. You know how when you get in a hot tub and that chill that roll up your spine, you know that when you give your body that chill, you give your body that chill, but you see whatever it is, whatever is wrong with you, your cholesterol, your blood pressure, your heart, your brain, whatever it is, you send that chill to it. You send that it's an electric current. You send that current through it and you see yourself combating it. You see yourself combating that. You see yourself combating it. That's how you use the water to heal you. That water gonna do whatever you tell it to do. And then while you laying in bed, when everything is quiet and everything is dark, you breathe in. And when you breathe in, you breathing in that same light. You could see it as a gold dust. You could see it as gold dust. You breathe in that light and you see it go wherever it is, whether it's your pancreatic cancers, if it's just your veins. What I do is I breathe in and I see it. I don't see the air coming in my nose. I see it going in my heart. And I see it going from my heart into my veins. And as it traveled through all the veins, I see this in my mind, in my third eye. And as you see it going through your veins, then it busts out in your veins into your flesh, into your organs, into your skin. And you do that and you breathe out. And when you breathe out the black. You breathe in the gold, and then you can send electric currents through your body, which is that blue lightning. And then when you breathe out the black. Now, wherever the problem is, whatever it is, whether it's in your veins, your arteries, your heart, your liver, your kidney, wherever it is, a headache, when you blow out from the part of your body that's messed up or in pain or imbalance, and you breathe the black out from that particular heart part. It'd be my heart because of cholesterol and high blood pressure. So when I blow out, I see it coming out my heart. So when I blow out the black, it comes out of all my veins and it comes out of my heart out. And I breathe in more gold flakes, more love and light. And then I breathe out the black out of my heart. That's what you do. That's your meditations. So you do it with the water and you do it with your breathing. When you lay down and you breathe in deep and then you breathe out deep. But on that out breath, you got to see that shit coming out of every single part of your being and every cent of your essence. You have to see it coming out, whatever it is. And sometimes it don't have to be a physical ailment. It could be the spirit of lies. It could be the spirit of lust. It could be the spirit of deceit. Whatever it is you fighting with, as you're a human sitting right here today, all 98 of y'all, I mean all 71 of y'all in this chat. Everybody has something they got to breathe out of their body. Everybody, whether it's a physical ailment or a spiritual ailment or what some call a mental ailment, you have something to blow out. Blow it out. Breathe in, love and light, and blow out that negative entity or energy. Breathe in, love and light, and breathe out that negative entity or energy all the time. And you'll change it. You'll change your blood pressure. If you go to the doctor, you do it for 7 days. When you go back to the doctor, they're going to tell you your blood pressure ain't high. They're going to tell you your cholesterol is perfect. They're going to tell you the kidney, the cancer shrunk a little bit. The medication is working. And then you tell her, I ain't took the medication. And had the doctor say, what? They're going to tell you, oh, I don't advise for you to not take the medication. And if you tell them what you did, 9 times out of 10, they're going to agree with you. Have not had one doctor tell me that I was wrong. Not one of them. Because at some point, a doctor, and I'm not being all super conspiracy because I'm a super conspiracyist. I'm not even talking about the conspiracy aspect. I ain't getting into the plastic and the silicone and the harp and the chemtrails. I ain't even getting to the fake food. I ain't even getting into all of that. I'm telling you, at one point, a doctor, a person who's learning to fix people, just like a person learns to fix a car, a doctor or a nurse at one point in them learning to fix people, they become to realize that they're being taught some bullshit. All of them. After a while, they become to realize I'm not really fixing nobody. I'm putting a band-aid where they need stitches. They all know. They all know. And if they really good at their practice, then they're gonna come across the placebo effect. They're gonna come across the stress genes and how people put stress genes inside your body in order to weaken your immune system so you can get a new organ or get a blood transfusion. They have to give you not a stress gene. I forgot they call it the stress. It's stress though, but it's not a gene. I'm using the wrong term. And they have to give you stress, not enzymes, not I forgot the word of it, in order to because your body will reject somebody else's blood or somebody else's heart or somebody else's kidney. So they got to give you a certain amount of stress hormones. So the stress weakens your immune system. Stress weakens your immune system. Breathing, because that's the prana, that's the life, right? It said he breathed breath into Adam's lungs and he became alive, right? Breath is spirit. Breath is consciousness. If you stop breathing, you lose consciousness and then in turn, your life, right? Breath is consciousness. So breathing is how you heal yourself. That's why people say take a deep breath and all that. That's why working out, people, them gym rats, they love to work out. They don't realize it's just the breath that they actually, that's what gives them the feeling of being refreshed after the workout. It's not the actual workout, it's the repetitive in the breath. It's the breathing. It's the breathing. Even in sex, hold your breath during an orgasm and watch what happens to you. Continuously hold your breath during an orgasm. Matter of fact, do some semen retention. Hold your orgasm 4 or 5 times, and then hold your breath when you at the moment of orgasm and watch what happens to you. But we ain't gonna get in all the way into that. Yes, it's all about money. The medical field is all about money. It's not all about money. Let me not even say that. It's all about money on a surface level, but it's all about spirit. Because if you could heal yourself, then you could stop bullets. If you could heal yourself, then you could generate your own money. If you could heal yourself, then you won't need a air conditioner to condition you against the air. If you become that natural being and come back within yourself, then you wouldn't need the establishment, period. So the doctor system and the pharmaceutical company, yeah, they make a lot of money. That's on the everything is as above, so below. It's a double meaning to everything. It's not just about the money, it's about the power. Money is just a lesser form of power. That's all it is. Money is a lesser form of power. Money is not the actual power. The actual power is spirit. Because if I knew how to work spirit, then I would have all the money in the world. Right? If you was a millionaire, but I could send a spirit to make you give me all your money, then what good is your money? Because you'll give me all your money if I put a spell on you. Money is not the ultimate power. It's a form of power. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's a form of power. That's it. It's not the ultimate power. The ultimate power is spirit. Because there's people on this planet that don't need money because they are strong in spirit. So anything they want, they can manifest. It's just the poor people. It's the physical people at the bottom of the totem pole who always thinks that money is everything. Money's not everything. Money is not everything. It's not. But I appreciate y'all. I was meaning to get up out of here, but I don't know. It just came into me to go down that road, go down that rabbit hole a little bit. If they can control that whole crowd on their emotions at any pick, play, or choose, that's a fact. That's more riches than any physical paper ever. That's a fact. That's a fact. All right, I appreciate y'all, man. Subscribe to my channel, y'all. Like my channel, subscribe to my channel. I promise y'all, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting into the street shit a little bit. You know, I was a street nigga. I've been around a lot of shit. You know what I mean? So I kind of stay in that realm for a little while. I'm clearly just getting all that shit out of my system. I have a story to tell. People want to hear it, so I'm pushing that story out. But I promise you, as the days go by, as the months go by, I could almost say, because we in April now, May, by June and July, I'm not even gonna be talking no more of this shit. I'm not even gonna be talking that street shit no more. I promise y'all. We're gonna be elevating. We're gonna be making holy water, healing water. We're gonna be activating these crystals. We're gonna be activating our macabres. We're gonna be cleaning out our chakras. We're gonna be changing everything around us in our realm of reality. And out of this, I'm gonna get my soul group. There's gonna be a soul group. There's gonna be people who are vibrating on a certain energy. And those are the people that's my family. That's your soul group. Some of us are family. We don't even know it. We from the same monad. We're from the same spirit. A lot of us on here, we don't even know it yet. Well, we do actually know it. I don't know because I can't communicate with y'all, but some of y'all might know, like, damn, this brother, this is my soul group. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. These are the people that I'm supposed to be around. You know what I mean? It's not like TikTok where we can have an open channel, but I am gonna move some of the flow over to TikTok so we could get, because I was on TikTok. My lives on TikTok, I was getting like 15, 20 people in my lives on TikTok. It wasn't nothing crazy, but I wasn't talking like this. I was doing dating shit over there. And there was some beautiful souls over there, but I wasn't talking the way I supposed to be talking. So I shut the TikTok down and focused more on the YouTube. But as my YouTube channel grows, I'm gonna move the traffic back over to TikTok so it could be more of an exchange and we could build off each other and grow off each other, because it's a lot of y'all making good points in the chat, but as I'm talking, I'm not going to be constantly be able to get back to the chat to answer some of the questions, and I dislike missing some of them. Money, you can build a life, but spirit gives it meaning. That's right. How long since you got out the slammer? I've been out 3 years now. But I'm just reading some of the comments, y'all. I don't like to not answer people. One laugh and don't believe, Sally. It's just like that. You gotta learn from what comes from age. That's right. Your purpose to present this tonight. That's right. This is my purpose, Emily. I'm not gonna lie. I'm living in it. You know what I mean? And I try not to be super religious. I try not to oppose nothing on nobody. But I'm telling y'all, when you and I haven't been. I've been fighting since the Hell Rel thing and me exposing him in the hip hop industry, and then me going back into Leavenworth and being around some of these New York City kingpins and legends. I'm falling back into that street bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I'm falling back into it like I'm actually doing it. But sometimes when you speak of things in a certain time, you become that person in that time. You know what I mean? It's like some Christians, they used to listen to Marvin Gaye and the Temptations, right? And they don't listen to the Temptations anymore. And you'd be like, well, it's only love songs. And they'd be like, well, I don't listen to it because it brings me back to, 72, when I used to be in this house and we used to be grinding. And, they start going back to 82 when they was hypersexual. You know what I'm saying? So they don't listen to the music altogether because the music brings them back to a state. So as people are, I'm not gonna say begging me, but as people are constantly asking me for the preacher stories and the Jack Frost stories and the Prince stories or the Shark Baller stories, or all of these, the OG Mac stories, people want to know what it was like to be around a person who started blood, or some of these kingpins and some of these penitentiaries, or how it is to be around somebody who killed 5 people, and how did I ever become involved in 17 homicides? How was I even around that? People are fascinated with all that horrible shit. And me reaching back there, even to explain it, I find myself not glorifying it, but I find myself becoming bucks again, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes when people jump in the chat, I find myself defending some of the actions that of a person that I'm not even no more. Somebody had me talking about OG Mac because I gave them my interpretation of this guy when I was 20. So as I'm telling you what I thought and what I felt, I'm not talking about me at 47. I'm talking about the 20-year-old me when I met the person who started Blood in New York. I'm telling you what that kid saw in that person. Now that I'm an adult, now that I have a spiritual eye, my spiritual eyes open, I can tell you the entities that I saw upon him, because they're the same entities that I had upon me. Not me passing judgment on him, but from me knowing who he was, because I saw it in him. Just like I see what's in Michael Jackson, like I see what's in R. Kelly, I see what's in Puffy. You could see it. When you give this discernment, you're able to see the spirits that's attached to people, not from a form of judgment, but a form of awareness. So then you're able to say, you know what, let me not be upset at that brother, because that brother may not be driving a car at this time. That brother may not be in control of himself, and not judge him as a human being, and use my spiritual eye and understand what he might be going through or she might be going through spiritually. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm reaching back there for points of reference to give the people what they want. And those who stick around for the spiritual journey, that's where we're gonna go. I'm not a bona fide Christian who ain't never did nothing or been through nothing. So I'm gonna let you know what I've been through. You understand what I'm saying? So you can understand my journey and where I came from. It's a part of my story, but I promise you, I'm gonna get it all out. And when I get it all out, I'm not going back there. I'm not even gonna respond when people jump in the comments talking about Bucks and Weeks Avenue, 175th Street, 183rd, and all these neighborhoods. Sometimes I see people talking about in the chat. I ain't even want to acknowledge that. For real, we're gonna be past that. But I appreciate y'all for tapping my screen. I appreciate y'all spending the time with me. I appreciate y'all for being here. I'll be live again at 10 o'clock, probably tomorrow or the day after. I heard preacher was a bandit. Was that wrong? That's what they say. They say he was. Ain't no place like home. But I heard it's not the same. What's not the same? Place like home. Where's home? Oh, I miss Harlem. Oh, nah, Harlem ain't the same. New York is not the same. New York is not the same. When I go to New York, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's way too many people in New York. It's way too many people in New York. Whatever they reporting about how many people in New York is probably triple the amount of time. You gotta wait for everything in New York. You can't remember driving through Harlem. You could just drive through Harlem. Now it's too much traffic. The blocks are too small. Cars are triple parked. Remember, it used to be double parked. Now cars are triple parked. Now cars are triple parked. You can't even make it through some of them blocks. And you have to wait for everything. You go in the corner store, there's a line in the corner store. You go to the supermarket, there's a line in the supermarket. If you go to drive your car, there's traffic. You go to get your car, there's a line to get your car. It's just way too many people in New York City. It's good to go back up. When you go there, go eat at a couple restaurants, see a couple sites, and go right back home. New York is modern day Babylon. Plus, you don't want to be there anyway. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to be there. Did you ever encounter bandit activity in the hood or in jail? Not me personally, but in the feds, it's a lot of that in the feds. The DC car, them brothers, them brothers is straight booty bandits. That's what they do. Not all of them, but 90% of them. But I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Just check every night at 10, 11 o'clock, and I'll be here getting my money right so I can be straight out of Brooklyn. Get out of Brooklyn. Brooklyn is horrible. The Bronx is horrible. Yeah, DC is crazy. They some good brothers. They unique, but they be on different type of time. I ain't gonna lie. But peace, love and light. Thank y'all for being here. See y'all tomorrow.